up in meetings, or you can also mentor others, even when it feels uncomfortable. Bold leadership is built through action and not perfection, as I've mentioned a while ago. So confidence grows with each step forward. And it's very important also that you should acknowledge achievements. Very important yan, no? No matter how small, and reflect on lessons from, setbacks, yung mga nag-experience na hindi maganda. Whether nagka-variance ka ba dyan o nagkaroon ka dyan ng errors. So this builds resilience also and reinforces your capacity to lead with authenticity. So many leaders have shared how they once felt like impostors but grew into confident leaders by consistently applying these strategies. Ako, ginawa ko din yan. Nagsimula din po ako sa ganyan. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Uriel, for that generous responses to the question. Another question is, what are the most common triggers po of imposter syndrome among nurses, especially po the new graduates or newly hired nurses or those in leadership roles as well?
Oh, okay. Thank you for that question. Well, I can say that the most common triggers of imposter syndrome among nurses, especially you mentioned about the newly hired nurses or the newly grads ba? Yung ba yung tinanong kanina? And also the leaders, no? Including transitioning into new roles. Syempre, meron dyan mga high expectations also and lack of mentorship and comparison with peers. So what I can say about it is, for the new graduates or the newly hired nurses, they often feel overwhelmed, di ba? They often feel overwhelmed by the shift from the academic learning to real-world clinical practice. Kasi nakikita ko rin ito sa hospital namin yan eh. The steep learning curve and fear of making mistakes can fuel self-doubt. So for the nurse leaders naman, stepping into management or executive roles sometimes may feel unprepared or questions their qualifications, no? Kaya ko ba to? Parang ganun din yun. Especially when leading more experienced staff. So, nursing is a high-stake profession where errors can have, or variances can have serious consequences. And this pressure to, perform without error or without or flawlessly, sabi nga nila, can lead nurses to feel like they're never good enough even when they succeed already. So for the leaders naman, they may feel they must always have the right answer, especially when they ask by the staff. Kasi dapat, di ba, feeling ng head. Pag tinanong ako ng mga nurses, pag tinanong ako ng mga doktor, dapat parang ang feeling ng mga heads, dapat alam ko lahat. Which creates unrealistic internal standards. So I think without strong mentorship or peer support, nurses may internalize their struggles and believe they're alone in feeling inadequate. Kaya minsan umiiyak talaga sila, and leaders roles naman can also be isolating, especially if there's limited guidance from the senior executives kasi iba-iba naman tayo ng pagpapalakad sa mga hospitals. So nurses often compare themselves to colleagues. Isa rin yan sa problema, no? Who seem more confident or experience, which can distort their own sense of competence. Yung iba, parang, ang galing-galing naman niya, ba't siya alam niya, ako parang hindi ko matutunan yan. So, and then, basta studies, ako nakita ko to, no? Nabasa ko actually kagabi. Study shows daw that age, gender, and background, our cultural background can influence imposter feelings. For example, younger nurses or those from the unrepresented groups may feel added pressure to prove themselves in the leadership settings. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you for those thoughtful questions, and thank you again, Dr. Juriel, for addressing those questions comprehensively. Your talk was deeply empowering, and your words reminded us that leadership is not about having no fear or doubt, but about moving forward with purpose and reason, sabi mo nga, Doc, despite them. And now, as a symbol of our heartfelt appreciation, we would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation for your invaluable contribution to today's event and for the inspiration you've instilled in all of us through your lecture. The citation reads, allow me to read po, the National Kidney and Transplant Institute, Nursing Services, the Certificate of Appreciation is proudly presented to Dr. Neriza M. Jurial for sharing her valuable insights and knowledge as a guest speaker during the 5th National Nursing Conference held on October 24, 2025 via Zoom webinar at this institution. Signed by the head of the Nursing in Service Training and Education Unit and by Dr. Hazel M. Villafranca, the overall chairperson of the Nursing Month celebration. Doc, we hope this small gesture reflects our deep gratitude for the time, energy, and inspiration you've shared with us.
Thank you very much to all.
Thank you, ma'am. At this juncture, may we request a photo opportunity with Dr. Jurial, and we kindly ask all panelists to turn on their camera for the photo.
Off mo muna yan. Naka-off ka. Naka-off ka. Kamusta yung lecture? Maraming feedback, maganda. Lahat? Very good.
Si Dr. Prudential.
There you go. Thank you very much po. Once again, Dr. Jurial, let's give her another well-deserved virtual round of applause.
Ang dami kong ano.
Yeah.
So,
Amazing. What an incredible session we just had with Dr. Jurial on from self-doubt to self-trust, overcoming imposter syndrome, and embracing bold leadership in nursing. I think we can all agree that was a true confidence booster. O yan, madami tayong natutunan na introspect, di ba? Whether you are novice or you're an expert nurse or you're in a leadership position. Again po, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. And for those who have just joined us here on Zoom, welcome to the 5th National Nursing Conference. And we're thrilled to have with us, and we want to give a big thank you to all our attendees. We've just wrapped an inspiring session with our first speaker who shared valuable insights on from self-doubt to self-trust, overcoming imposter syndrome, embracing bold leadership in nursing. What a great way to start a day of learning and inspiration. So we would just like to announce po that live na po tayo via YouTube. So the link is at the chat box already. And Facebook, kindly click on the link para po mapanood niyo po. And you can also share it with your friends and colleagues. Ayan. Now, it is a great honor to welcome our second distinguished guest, an inspiring nurse leader, educator, and innovator whose work has left a lasting impact on nursing practice and leadership around the globe. With over 20 years of experience, Dr. Prudencio has championed innovation, mentorship, and inclusivity in the nursing profession. He has held pivotal leadership roles, including clinical coach, educator, program director, director of clinical education, and nursing professional development specialist, always with a steadfast commitment to integrating evidence-based practices, improving clinical outcome, and fostering organizational excellence. Dr. Prudencio holds a Doctor of Nursing Practice degree and carries multiple board certification, including Nurse Executive Advanced, Nurse Professional Development, Progressive Care Certified Nurse, and is also a Certified Global Nurse Consultant with CGFNS. In 2024, he was named a Fellow of the Faculty of Nursing and Midwifery at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, a true testament to his global leadership and contribution to the field. His accolades include the Luther Christman Award from AAMN, the PNNAA National Excellence Award for Nurse Educator, and 3 consecutive Excellence in Nursing Awards from Baltimore Magazine. He is also the author of Serenity in Simplicity, a guide, a guide to decluttering your life, a personal reflection on finding balance, well-being, and clarity through simplicity. Currently, he serves as the program director for the mentoring program and the Rising Nurse Leaders program at UC Davis Health, vice president of PNAC3, and a board member of UST Nurses Association International. Through these roles and his active participation in professional organizations, Dr. Prudencio continued to shape the future of nursing, mentoring emerging nurse leaders, and advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion across the profession. Please join me in warmly welcoming Dr. Dennis Angelo Prudencio as he shares his insight on the invisible thread, how mentorship weaves strength into the fabric of nursing.
Good morning, everyone. So hopefully you can hear me well. Let me just start sharing my screen. All right. So hopefully you are seeing my screen. Can you confirm that? Yes. Oh, let me just make sure I did share the sound in my. So I'm not sure if you are seeing my screen.
Yes, Doc, we can share your slide deck.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So again, good morning. Thank you very much for this opportunity. So happy Nurses Week to all of you, my esteemed colleagues, all our guests, all the leaders and nurses who are here today. It's actually a privilege to really be talking to you today and sharing this insight on this topic that is actually close to my heart. This is mentoring, not just in leadership, but also at the multiple levels in our profession. So thank you very much, Dr. Nerissa, for this invitation, and to the entire NKTI Nursing Services team. for this invitation. Special shout out to Miss Jewel because she's been very patient communicating back and forth with me. So um, I just want to verify if we are sharing my screen already to the group. All right, so give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen.
Dr. Prudencio, we can
Yes.
see your screen na po.
Okay,
Thank
very
you
good.
so
Thank you
much.
so much. Yes. So, as a nurse educator, leader, mentor, I've experienced firsthand the profound impact of mentoring can have not only to the individuals that we guide, but also in our own journey as nurses. So thank you so much, Dr. Nerissa, for setting the stage with such an important conversation on imposter syndrome. It's something that many of us have felt, that quiet voice makes us question whether we truly belong, right? Or deserve to be here or our accomplishments. So, building on that, I will be talking about mentorship, one of the most powerful ways to rise above self doubt and to really foster growth. So, for a little over 2 decades, I've dedicated my career to advancement of nursing and the development of future nurse leaders. Especially being an internationally educated nurse coming to the US really shocked me with a lot of different practices, language barriers, culture, and the diversity that we can all face regardless where we work. So whether in my role as a nursing professional development specialist here at UC Davis Health or in leadership roles in other organizations such as the USC Nurses Association International or PNAA, mentoring has been central to everything that I do. It actually bridges that connects different generations. It actually fosters diversity and creates a space where individuals can grow, thrive, and realize their full potential. So I was born and raised in Quezon City, so very close to NKTI. I was born and I grew up in Project 3, Quezon City. So I'm very familiar with the area. Like what the introduction says, had my BSN at University of Santo Tomas. I worked there for a little over 5 years and did my master's there. But eventually, I migrated to the United States. I'll finish my master at St. Bernadette Lutheran College. Just a little bit, journey. My journey is share my journey from the U.S. to Manila to the United States. I first worked at Sinai Hospital and then moved to different organizations because of my passion in really teaching and professional development. So I started my career at Sinai Hospital, becoming an RN1 and then RN2. I started my journey in the ICU and then moved to a specialty ICU, which is the neuro ICU, which is most of my background. And then I became the clinical coach, then the nurse educator, and then became the director for just the transition to practice program that covers the nurse residency program in our institution. And then eventually I moved. I got offered to move to Kaiser Permanente in California to be the neuro ICU educator, and then became the director for clinical education at Pick and Bloom. And of course, as time goes by, you're looking for opportunities and progress, and then a headhunter kind of like convinced me to move to UC Davis. That's where I'm at now. So I'm a nursing professional development specialist at UC Davis Health, that is in Sacramento, California, and also a program director for our Rising Nurse Leaders program and our mentoring programs. As the other things that I do, I'm also an ANCC NCP appraiser. What I do is I evaluate different education programs coming from different organization across the globe, making sure that to ensure that standards integrity with all the education program. It is similar to your PRC or the Board of Nursing that reviews all the contact hours application. But this is through the ANCC, which is part of the American Nurses Association. I also am a visiting professor for the Philippine Christian University. And this is just some of the backgrounds. I finished my Doctor of Nursing practice at Walden University, and I took some post-certification courses at Johns Hopkins University. I'm a fellow for the RSCI, that's in Dublin, Ireland, and also I will be inducted as a fellow of the Academy of Diversity Leaders in Nursing in December. Well, thank you so much for that introduction. But my goal is really, my learning objectives for you guys is really describe the principles of successful mentor and be able to enumerate best practices in mentoring. So I want to take a few minutes for everyone to do a reflection on what for you, or how do you define a preceptor, a mentor, and a clinical coach? I'm sure a lot of you are more familiar with what a preceptor is. Um, and some of you may have heard or know the term mentor, but how are we going to really apply that in a clinical setting? And what is a clinical coach? So these terms are intertwined all together, but we're going to kind of like define what the distinct roles of each um, nurse in this specific role. So what I want you to do is if you're able to scan this QR code and just answer the question, what does mentoring mean to you? And we'll hopefully get some answers for those who are able to scan. I know some of you may be using your mobile devices and watching this, so you may not be able to scan it, but those who have access to maybe a desktop or a laptop, if you can scan this, and then I'm just curious how you guys define, or what is mentoring means to you. All right, so I can see just one typing. So hopefully a lot of you are able to scan and enter your answers in this chat. So we see guidance, right? Yeah, very good. So a lot of the themes, majority are answering the term guidance. The one who train, yes, very good, guiding and supervising to train someone. Support, inspiring young generations, a guiding hand, a guide, growth. I love that term, growth. Motivate, advice, development. Oops, I love all these terms popping out. The one who trained, mentoring is just like guiding, inspiring others. I love that. Helping hand, knowledge transfer. Very good. Influence. I love that. Growth, influence, motivating, paving for new and upcoming nurses. How important that is, right? Thank you very much. I appreciate all your engagement because it's just good to really see the pulse of the learners in terms of different terminologies that we're going through this morning. I love that. It's still coming in, but I'm going to move on. Thank you very much. Here's a simple summary of the three terms. So precepting, mentoring, and coaching. So you are probably more familiar with precepting. So when does precepting occurs, right? If you can just type in the chat, when does precepting occurs? So it's typically when there's a new hire, right? Or you're new into the job. Is precepting short term or long term? Yep. What do you think? Is precepting a short term or a long term? Short term, yep, short term, very good. Is with regards to precepting, are you able to pick, or is it an assigned role to the preceptor? Assigned, right? Thank you very much for those who are answering in the chat. It is assigned. You're not going to be going to the hospital or to your new work environment and saying, hey, you, Miss Heidi, I want you to be my preceptor, right? So it's pre-assigned by the organization or by the specific unit. And what is the focus of precepting? So the focus of precepting is really to complete that. What is that long, number, multiple pages that you complete during your orientation or your precepting phase? So this is what we call competency checklist, right? So the goal of the precepting phase is to really make sure that the new hire will be able to perform the basic job function safely and effectively. Correct? You all agree? Yes. Let's talk about mentoring, right? Mentoring, is it short term or long term? Yeah, okay, thank you. I see the chat coming in. It's really more of a long-term investment, right? And in terms of the mentoring relationship, is it assigned or the mentee has the ability to pick a mentor? Let's see who's coming. Yep. So it is able to pick. Yes. So in mentoring, a lot of evidence show when we are looking at all the literature out there, it's really helpful if the mentee has the input or a choice or a say who they wanted to be mentoring with. So that's very good. Thank you so much for everyone who's participating in the chat. I love the engagement. And in terms of mentoring, what is the goal? So, in precepting, it's really just, prepping them to really go into that role that they are hired for. But for mentoring, it's really navigating that professional as well as personal landscape. Um, so, there's a lot to be talked about, and the goals may be different depending on your mentee, right? But the goal is the center for that relationship will be your mentee. And how about clinical coaching? How many of you have actually heard this term, clinical coaching? So clinical coaching is really something that is very unique to some organizations, and sometimes we act as clinical coach at some point. So it really involves, it's very limited interaction. It really involves on questioning and assessing. So clinical coaching is utilized mostly on situations such as, for example, you send a new grad to the vent class, right? The ventilation or ventilator class, and then they come to the unit, but they're already off orientation. And then they would ask you as a more experienced nurse on validating their skills or the things that they have learned during that vent class. And that is a clinical coaching time. So that's very important to really support them and validate them. So it's very short term. It's very, very short term, and it's only focused on specific tasks and behavior. So hopefully, you were able to differentiate all these three main roles that sometimes being intertwined. So overall, while precepting, mentoring, and coaching share some similarities in that they are involved in providing guidance to a new hire or to a new position, they have distinct goals and approaches. So precepting is really focusing on ensuring that the trainee can safely and adequately perform their job responsibility. Mentoring is focused on their personal and professional growth and assisting them in navigating the professional landscape. And then coaching is focused on performance improvement, right? So in summary, precepting, mentors, clinical coaches are crucial in our nursing profession, especially when we talk about, overwhelming, like retirement, retention, all those stuff. It can have a great impact if you are utilizing all these roles effectively. So in general, preceptors are first in line, and then after orientation, then you have clinical coaches and mentors to really support that new hire or new grad in your organization. So that mentoring mindset is really like what you guys have all mentioned earlier. It's include, passing on knowledge and providing, advices. It's really about forming that meaningful relationship that is built on trust, empathy, and shared vision. Whether at the bedside or leadership, mentoring goes beyond skill building. It actually helps shape character, instill values, and creates the condition for sustained personal and professional growth. So, in my journey, one of the most fulfilling aspects of leadership has been seeing those I've mentored rise into the position of influence because I know that they will be advocating for change. They would be promoting diversity and really contributing more to a more equitable healthcare system. So remember, when we mentor, we are not just creating leaders, we are shaping the future of our profession, ensuring that it involves with integrity, inclusivity, and excellence. So my own journey as a leader and a mentor is deeply shaped by my roots and experiences. As an immigrant, from the Philippines, English was not my first language, and many other who came to this country, I face a lot of challenges, whether it's language barrier or understanding, and sometimes reading English itself. And there are moments of self doubt. But I was fortunate enough to have mentors who believe in me, who saw the potential, and who've actually continued to guide me through the complexities of working in a new healthcare environment. So these mentors did not just give me knowledge, they gave me the confidence to lead. And that is the gift of confidence that I aim to give to everyone I work with. Because without that confidence, I think they would have this barrier and not going to be able to really expand their knowledge and test their capabilities, right? So, one of the important lessons I've learned about mentoring is that it is not a one-way street. Mentoring is a reciprocal process. So, while mentors provide guidance, support, and encouragement, we also gain immensely from our mentees, right? Especially if they're coming from a different generation. So, they challenge us to see things from a fresh perspective. It reminds us of the value of curiosity, innovation, and push for us to continuously learn and grow ourselves. So I've been privileged to mentor a lot of this diverse individuals, men, women, immigrants, and members of the underrepresented groups in nursing. Their experiences have enriched my leadership practice and have reinforced my belief in the power of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you probably have heard DEI, all this terminologies. These are just not buzzwords; they are the cornerstone of leadership that drives us to create a healthier environment for all our patients and to our community. So there is 1,000 of you here. I wanted to ask, are you a mentor? If you can answer this poll again, I wanted to get the pulse of over 1,000 of you guys here today, listening to this great conference. Have you served, as a mentor before, or or not? Is this something new to you, or maybe informally, maybe a formal mentoring? So, wow, very good. So 60s, okay, it's still answers are still coming in. So yes, 65%, 63% of you, yeah, very good. So it's a good mixture of like I would assume experience and maybe newer or nurses who have been a mentor before and maybe don't have mentoring experience. So very good. Thank you very much. And for those who have been a mentor, I want you to answer this. Have you had formal mentoring training before? Okay. So majority says they didn't have any formal mentoring. And at least like 27% said they have formal training on mentoring. And that's okay. We do mentoring in and out of the hospitals, maybe in schools, or whether it's formal or informal mentoring. But that's a great feedback. I just want to get a pulse on our audience. How many of you actually had the formal training on mentoring? So let's talk about the mentoring process framework. So I love this framework because it actually depicts on how that mentoring relationship goes on. So it really starts with establishing that relationship. So a lot of you will be mentors in the future. You are the developmental partner of that mentee with clear structure and ground. So the quality of the relationship will be the primary tool for your work. And then you will be able to set the direction and then explore your mentee's current work, experiences, and apply new mindsets and behavior. And then towards the end of that relationship, you'll be able to really influence them in refining their capabilities as well as, acquiring new knowledge. And then at the end, although, in a lot of formal mentoring, there's always a close and wrap up session. But trust me, once you have built that relationship with that mentor, even after 20, 10, 20 years, you're still going to go to that person for advices, right? Whether it's about your work or professional development, or just simply, anything under the sun, because you already built that relationship with that specific mentor. So establishing that relationship is very important, right? And again, because as a mentee, if you're the mentee, you have the ability to kind of like pick your mentor, right? So gain an understanding. So these things are very important when establishing that relationship in that mentoring mentoring program. So even before you ever have a word or conversation, that relationship can jump started by exchange of maybe information such as your cell phone, smiles, or information background, and even social media, right? And that's when trust comes in. And then how do you establish trust? So trust is very important. Without trust, imagine your mentoring relationship. If you don't trust that person, it will just be a transaction of time. It's going to be a waste of your time. With trust, you have the opportunity for transformation, right? Especially with your own professional growth. So evidence shows that there's two main ways on how trust is created. First is interest. So be curious in your mentoring partner. Ask for their journey, their wisdom and aspiration, and look for commonalities. Sometimes you will be surprised that you share commonalities like, oh, you have a dog, or you both have 3 kids, or you went to the same school, and things like that. It's very important to look for those commonalities because that would start up that conversation. And then the other one is experiences. When we bond with people, when we experience life with them, it actually creates that experience to the both of you. So, when you laugh together, maybe read a book together, watch a movie together, or attend a specific convention, or go to, a trip together, it actually deepens that relationship. So in research done in Harvard Business Review by Distino back in 2018, he actually shared that when building relationship, a powerful tool is a sense of similarity, that people's interests are joined and therefore they are on the same team. So the truth is that if we really look, we can find commonalities with anyone because we all share those human experiences. So find that commonality so you can start building trust. So I wanted to share the 7 guiding principles of a successful mentor by Axel Rad that was published in 2019. So the first is start where your mentee is, not where you think they should be. This is my favorite principle. So at times, as mentors, or, you became a preceptor or a mentor, even, a nurse leader, when a new person comes in, sometimes you do have different hopes for your mentees, right? Or you tend to compare them like, hey, you're a graduate already. You should know this by now. Or, you are hired as a manager, dapat alam mo na to, and things like that. And the problem is, maybe they're not there yet. So the important thing as a mentor is really start where your mentee is, regardless of what you think they should be. I think the challenge now is, as a mentor, how are you going to help them to move from that phase to the phase that you wanted them to be? This would limit your false hope, and you're actually meeting them in the middle because you're understanding your mentee's aspiration. Sometimes they would have a goal or aspiration that time, but it may not mean anything to you because it may sound really basic for you. But again, in a good mentoring relationship, it's really understanding where your mentee is. Okay. All right. Number 2, create a conversational safety space. Without safety, your mentee will hold back and give you answer they think they want to hear. Yes? So what do I mean by this? So when you are in a mentoring relationship, you have to have a good understanding where meetings should be. So if you decided, hey, my mentor, I want you to meet, let's find a place that I can really voice out. So if you decided to meet maybe in the cafeteria or maybe go in the park, right? Because you wanted to make sure that the environment is really safe and it's actually a brave space for you to share your opinions. Maybe open up, right? Just imagine if you are talking in maybe in your nurse's station where everybody is listening. Do you think that mentee will open up to you as a mentor? Probably not, right? The mentor should demonstrate self-awareness and discipline with that conversational safety space. Again, if you as a mentee don't feel safe, then you're probably gonna hold back and give your mentors the answers they wanted to hear. Okay? And then the third is cultivating a positive and resilient relationship. So this is when you are reinforcing ideas, and kind of like clarifying what they mean. The quality of that relationship is really the primary tool for mentoring process or the mentoring relationship. So here, what you wanted to do is to really listen and to really bring out the positive in them, and then provide acceptance, mutual respect, and of course, transparency. How many of you have heard the term heliotropic? Is it something new to you? So, heliotropic is a term that comes from biology and explains why flowers, plants, and trees grows towards the sun. So they are attracted by the life-giving energy the sun provides. So like you probably observe your flowers really turning or facing towards the sun because the sun provides them life-giving energy, right? So similarly, individuals are attracted to people who provide psychic energy through positive interaction. So such people energizes others and we want to be around them, right? So this is when you have, when you identify someone as your work best friend, your work mom, your work wife, husband, and all those stuff, because you are, you see the light in them. You want to be with them. And even if you don't need anything from them, sometimes, like when you're feeling down, especially, when you're overworked, you're doing a lot of overtime, or, something happened. When you see them, walking in the hallway, sometimes it brightens up your day, right? So that's them giving you a heliotropic effect. So as nurses, as mentors, we want to continue to provide that heliotropic effect to our patients, to our coworkers. So we should be the sun and not the soul. So again, positive energizers will kind of like influence the mood of the majority in your unit. So I want to call it high quality connections. So this is the emotional carrying capacity, tensility, and degree of connectivity. So when we talk about emotional carrying capacity, so this is the expression of range of emotions of positive and negative emotions. So sometimes, when you have a bad experience, sometimes, that prevents you from going back to that person, right? Research showed that sometimes, when you look at, because it's not always going to be happy conversation, right? Sometimes there will be difficult conversation. Similar when you're talking to your patients or to your managers, there are always this, you know, your thoughts are always not going to be aligned. So what they say is for every 5 interactions, there should, a balance of like 3 positive versus 1 or 2 negative. What does that mean? For example, your first interaction during the morning is all positive. Then you come back to that same person, you have positive, and then you have negative, negative, negative. What do you think will happen to that relationship? It's probably not gonna do well because there's more negative conversation than the positive ones, right? But if you have more positive, then the tendency is we forget that we had like one bad interaction. So it's always good, if you think that you did something or there was a bad conversation, then turn it to like, the next time, turn it to the positive conversation. And people will tend to forget. Kasi diba, when you continue to do good deeds, even if you do one, sometimes, they would tend to lament that or hold a grudge on that. But if you keep doing good deeds every time or good conversation, that eventually will fade away. So these are just high quality connections. So continuing to the 7 guiding principles, of course, we wanted to be flexibly goal oriented. So again, in that mentoring relationship, it is the goal of the mentee, right? That we are focusing on. And then drive risk taking for new mindsets and behavior. And then we are going to explore internal world as a driver for external action. we have to understand what motivates them. Sometimes when you see them, oh, that maybe the nurse doesn't want to participate or doesn't want to lead a certain project, or maybe she doesn't want promotion. We have to understand why. We have to come to the level and understand and give them opportunities to express why. And then if they really don't want that, maybe we can offer something else for them to be able to continue the engagement within the unit or within the organization. And of course, last is bring your best self. So as mentors, as nurse leaders, we have to be fully present and prepared for each meeting. So, oh, I need something like that. All right. So hopefully, this has audio. Oops. So let me just. All right. So let me know if you can hear the audio. All right. So it's just taking its time. Are you able to hear the audio?
Dr. Prudencio, we cannot hear po the audio of
Oh,
the
okay.
video.
The
Thank
video.
you.
Okay. Let me
Ang galing.
share this one. So maybe all right. So let me just do this. So, Mom Heidi, can you just play this one? Let me just send you the link. My apologies. We did test it out earlier, but uh, Mom Heidi, I'm not sure if you can help me play this video.
Dr. Prudencio, maybe you want to reshare it and then share also the audio.
The audio, yeah, it's not. It's grayed out on my part. So, stop share. Okay, let me try that again. Yes. So, Mom, the shared sound option is grayed out on my part. All right. Anyway, so let me just move on. All right. All right. So we have identified that there are a lot of generations, right? So if you can just, maybe identify if you belong to the Gen X, millennials, and Gen Z in the chat, that would be great. And we also have some, silent generation and some baby boomers that are still in our workforce. So if you don't mind just, typing your generation in there, and so we can have like a little poll and pause on what are what are the different generations that we have here in our call today. Yeah, so there's a lot of millennial baby, very good. Gen Z, very good. Gen X, yep. Gen X, millennial, very good. Thank you very much. Yes, Gen Z. So a lot of like the Gen Zs and the millennials, maybe a couple of Gen Xers here. And that's a quite different from here. Here you can also see, some baby boomers are still on the workforce. And, you would see that some of the silent generations are still alive, right? But they're mostly retired. So why am I asking that? It's because in our workforce, there's a lot of generational bias that's happening, right? Sometimes we have this different notion, or we tend to put stereotypes in different generation. So how do we overcome these biases? So implicit bias is pretty normal. You know, I've learned that, if I have a brain, therefore I have a bias, right? But how are we going to mitigate these biases? So what I want you to do is to really begin letting go of those biases based on the different generations that you see in your workforce, right? So what you can do to really let go of those is really write down the good and bad assumptions that you have heard about different generations, right? Sometimes you would see, oh, the Gen Zs, they don't work as hard as the others, or they're always on the phone and things like that. Or sometimes we have our biases thinking of like maybe an older generation that, oh, it's hard for them to cope with technology and all those stuff, right? But what the intent of this exercise is really to step back and take a look at that list and become aware of your biases, right? Once you are aware, what you're going to do next is to assess your organizational culture. So assess your culture. Do you have diversity among your workforce, right? If maybe a baby boomer mentee comes to your organization, would they feel like they belong, or would they feel unwelcome and judged, right? Sometimes, when a second courser comes to the workforce, you would think that, oh, she's too old, or she, things like that. And what I want you to really assess is, have that shift in your mindset about the different generations. And then step 3 is also very important. It's now focusing on work style. So start shifting your focus from assumptions you have made in the past, and move away from assuming that millennials do not work very hard, or baby boomers aren't going to last long, right? So don't assume someone has a certain level of skill based on their age. Instead, focus on the skill that are necessary for the job and what you really need for that person to be successful. Okay? And diversity ground rules. So there's a lot of like differences. We have different views and opinions, different religion, different dialects, and different races. The first rule in mentoring is really identify and celebrate differences, right? So mentors and mentees share about their differences, um, rather than ignoring or neglecting them. So this ground rule might actually support the conversation about how to avoid perceptions of assimilation, or that the minority person needs to be more like a majority, right? Differences are not good or bad. They are just different. And the third is, just because an experience is unbelievable does not mean it should not be believed. So sometimes, some mentee will tell you like, oh, this happened to me, I can't believe it. or this, they shared something that happened to them, whether maybe, they were discriminated or they felt offended by somebody else. um, Sometimes we have the tendency not to believe that person because it never happened to you. So just does it, take out those bad notions, because it doesn't mean that it should not be believed. Dysfunction. So in any mentoring, or any, leadership staff relationship, there's always going to be dysfunction. High quality relationships are marked by relative absence of dysfunctional behavior, but there could be some, right? So the first is mismatch. So mismatch refers to the relationship partners who do not share values, working styles, or maybe they have personality conflicts. Sometimes we cannot fix them. It's just a mismatch. Sometimes it happens during preceptorship too, right? Maybe that's why the new nurse is not, you know, progressing well, because it's just a mismatch between them. So that could happen too with mentoring. Distancing behavior happens when, they try to meet, but the other one is, cannot be reached, or you're trying to avoid the other partner. So that's your distancing behavior. And that's kind of like, a rampant sign of dysfunction. The other one is the manipulative behavior. So sometimes, they would use the power or their status to manipulate the mentee. So, if you're the mentor and then you're maybe on a PhD school and then you're asking your mentee to do your lit review, then that is a manipulative behavior, right? You're using your power over the mentee. And then lack of competence. It was discussed earlier, we tend to, we should not be, we don't expect anyone to know everything, but as a good mentor, you should be able to provide resources for that person, right? Let me get back to you. I will find the answer for you, or maybe I can refer you to somebody who knows the answer. But lack of competence is really just like nothing. Like you're trying to ask questions they don't know, or they don't have that specific skill, and they pretend to have that skill too. So general dysfunction is also a dysfunction. It's just like, I work here. Sometimes you would hear people, I'm just here to earn, or I'm just a worker, or sometimes they're not engaged. So just that's a general dysfunction that needs to be addressed, especially if they're mentoring a new employee, right? And it's important to be aware of this dysfunction, because this may limit, and could damage that mentoring relationship. Empathy and perspective. So, a great mentor prioritize understanding and considering the feelings and viewpoints. So sometimes we are so concerned about our status, or our position in the organization. We tend to forget the real job. So the real job is not being in charge. It's about taking care of those in our charge. It's the same thing with our mentoring. We have to really focus, um, on taking care of the people around us. And I think a lot of people, don't realize this, because sometimes we are focused, we are very task oriented. And I think what I wanted to really empower you guys is really that relationship, building aspect of leadership. Because if you're able to take care of yourselves, you'll be able to take care of the others as well as your patient and then your community. So partnership agreement, during the mentorship is also important. So these are the things that you may wanted to ask in that mentoring relationship. What is the purpose of this? What platform are we using? And how are we doing with scheduling? And these are some of the other questions that's very important when you are entering in the mentoring phase. What will be the primary subject matter? What is off the table? It's very important to build that boundary in the beginning, to see, maybe you don't want to talk about politics, you don't want to talk about religion, right? Or you don't want to talk about finances. It's very important to build that boundary in the beginning. And of course, safety and confidentiality, as well as regular check-in. So it's unfortunate sometimes that you would hear at the end of the orientation or the mentoring, they would fail this new grad without providing them feedback early on, right? So feedback should always happen every single day, right? You don't wait until you're meeting with your manager or your supervisor, or worse, the end of orientation, to fail or provide them feedback. So it's very important to continually put that into your practice to provide feedback. Identifying goals. So these goals are for you as a mentor and also for the mentee. So because it will give direction to the mentoring, as well as it would drive conversation. And then it could be a performance goal, project shift. But as a mentor, it would be your own goal. How are you going to improve yourself and learn from this experience? Because when you mentor someone, it's not going to be the same, right? You would tend to compare. Oh, I like the first mentee. She's awesome. She's smart. I don't like this one and stuff. But instead of thinking that, maybe ask yourself, how can I learn from this experience? How can I also be a better mentor for this new nurse, right? So, you know, a lot of evidences and literature really predicts on the best practices and a lot of like culture shift in terms of mentoring. First is really embed mentorship into the organizational culture. Mentorship should be part of the hospital's, DNA or the nursing services DNA. It should not be just a program, but maybe put that in a bigger picture that it should be a mindset, right? So leadership actively supports and model mentoring because they should see that you actually values mentoring. So mentorship is really should be tied into your strategic goals, like retention and professional development. Um, Define clear objectives. So before launching a program, clearly define what you wanted to achieve in this mentoring program. You want to enhance skills, maybe prepare nurses for leadership, improve your job satisfaction and retention. And of course, the goals will guide that structure and content and evaluation of the program. It's also important to really select and train the right mentors. Mentors should be respected by peers, maybe a good communicator, empathetic and patient, committed to continuous learning, as well as, having that coaching techniques. They should learn about cultural humility as well as feedback strategies. And of course, you have to have an effective mentor-mentee pairing. So each organization is very different. Based on the evidences, you can tailor it down how you wanted to pair the mentor-mentee, but they should be paired based on the shared interests and goals, complement their personality as well as the mentee's preference if possible, and then structure the program thoughtfully. So there should be like orientation sessions, regular meetings, reflection activities, wrapping up and be able to utilize a platform. So when we talk about the platform, there's a lot of different platforms available out there. Some may be costly to others, but what we use personally is Mentor Lead because we can tailor it to what our organization needs. So you can do the style as long as it's going to be meaningful, impactful for your organization as well as to your mentor and mentee phase. Of course, it should foster a culture of mentorship because we want to normalize mentoring by sharing success stories, including mentorship in maybe in your clinical ladder or your promotion criteria, as well as building that psychological safety and sense of belongingness in your unit. It really helps, acclimate new nurses if they have a mentor in the unit, and that really retains them. Because sometimes if a lot of like generations, if they don't see the value staying in that unit, they're gonna be gone the next day. And then of course use coaching techniques. There's a lot of different coaching models out there that you can utilize, and then adopt and evaluate continuously. So no single model is perfect. You have to tailor it. Sometimes you really have to conduct post-program evaluations, do your PDSA for improvement. Sometimes you may think that this is the best model or program, but then it doesn't work for all. So you have to be open in adopting and changing your mentoring program, and then ensure there's resources and support. So they talk about providing time for mentoring, providing spaces for mentoring meetings, and sometimes budget constraints is really important. So you have to really plan ahead when you are providing training to both your mentors and the mentee. And lastly, is really leveraging technology. So use your, whatever you have. I think um, one thing that we learned after COVID is really using and maximizing the use of technology, right? So whatever works for you, you can use that as part of your scheduling, communication, maybe sharing resources, tracking the progress, and documenting is very important as well. So as we look into the future, we must reimagine the role of mentoring in our healthcare, right? It is our responsibility to really create mentorship opportunities that reflect the changing needs of our profession. Every day, there's new things happening in nursing and in healthcare. So we must be intentional in building mentoring frameworks that really promote equity, representation, and cross-generational contribution. So, and these are just some of the benefits of mentoring in hospital setting. The first is really improves staff retention, right? So a lot of evidence shows that mentoring reduces turnover by at least 15%, right? Because there's increasing job satisfaction and sense of belonging. It actually helps bridge academic training to clinical reality, especially for those who graduated during the COVID time, right? Which they lack clinical exposure. So mentoring can actually bridge that gap as well. So enhance professional development. So as mentor, this would actually help guide career decision and skill building, inspire leadership development, and actually offers growth opportunities when you're shadowing a specific mentor. Maybe that is someone that you wanted to be when you grow older. Maybe you're shadowing or mentoring with a chief nurse or maybe a director of quality and safety and all those things. Through mentoring, it actually boosts organizational performance because you would see that there's more teamwork and collaboration. There's a culture of continuous learning, and the engagement and productivity will be increased. And of course, basic support for new nurses. So it actually provides emotional support, again, safe and brave space, and contributes to long-term retention. But for growth and satisfaction, so as mentors, there's also benefits to the mentor because it would offer them leadership experience and fulfillment, right? In mentoring, you don't count it as how many times. It's really looking at, how am I going to influence this new nurse, right? It's, you're looking at the professional development overall. So it actually reinforces your skills through communication techniques and coaching them, as well as building yourself as role models and advisors for the future generation. And of course, flexible and personalized programs. So mentors, mentees choose mentors based on the shared goal, one-on-one mentoring. There's also a group mentoring model, but you have to decide what best fits your organization. And of course, through this mentoring, there's support for stress management and transition. So as mentors, we always wanted to make sure that we prepare ourselves and be fully present at each meeting. So take actions worthy because when they pick you as a mentor, they actually see something in you. They might say, "Oh, I want her to be my mentor because I like how she talks to the patient. I like how she, do budgeting. I like how she decides in our, leadership meetings." So things like that puts, the role model aspect in you. So make sure that you continue to be and be a best version of yourself every single day. So as a mentor, you also continue your own development while supporting your mentees growth. Okay. All right. So I am done, but what I want to share with you is this quote that I got from actually my colleague, and this is from her mentor. So her mentor, Dr. Filippucci, mentioned to her that my goal as a mentor is not to make you just like me. My goal is to make you better than me, right? So it explained that a good mentor aims to foster their mentees' potential, creativity, and unique strengths rather than creating a replica of themselves. So this philosophy is a sign of a mentor's confidence, generosity, and commitment to the mentee's independence. So thank you very much. So these are all my references. So this is a QR code to my LinkedIn if you guys have any questions in the future or wanted to connect. But if you can also scan this just to provide a little feedback on mentoring, I think it's a very important topic nowadays. And we're very happy that a lot of organizations are really investing towards the mentoring process, whether it's going to be the frontline nurses or through our leadership. So, and again, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I think that ends my presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prudencio, for that insightful and truly inspiring lecture. So, thank you also, Dr. Prudencio, for sharing your personal journey in terms of mentoring and coaching young nurses, not only young nurses, but also leaders in their respective fields. So, I would like to emphasize also that for you to begin with is that you will have an interest and commonalities in terms of where your mentee is. You should assess first, nasan ba yung aking mentee? So from there, you can plan what is the best mentorship plan for your mentee as well. And then thank you also for giving us or for sharing to us the 7 guiding principle in mentoring, no? And the heliotropic idea in which yung palang mga mentee, they were attracted to those mentor who are very positive, who uplift them, who push them, no? And talagang nagfo-foster ng growth sa kanila, naglalabas nung galing nila. So also, this topic of yours is really applicable not just for novice nurses, but also for nurses who are seniors na, who are mentoring novice nurses or newly hired nurses, and also nursing leaders, clinical instructors, and preceptors po in the different hospitals po. Once again, Dr. Prudencio, thank you very much for that enlightening talk. And now, we open the floor for brief question and answer session. And for those joining us on Zoom, please type your question in the Q&A box, and we will be entertaining 2 questions for this topic.
Yes. And again, thank you very much. It's a great opportunity that you guys are offering this, and congratulations. This is the 5th conference that you guys are hosting. So thank you very much. So if you guys have any questions or clarifications, now is the time.
So perhaps, Dr. Prudencio, I will just throw in the first question while they were thoughtfully thinking questions for you. So in your experience, Dr. Prudencio, what is the most effective way for nurse leaders to foster a culture of inclusivity within a diverse healthcare team?
Yes, I think we have to make sure that all of the patient population are represented, right? What do I mean by that? So if you are seeing a lot of maybe a specific patient population, maybe through gender, it has to also emulate the gender of your staff forces, right? So if there's more and more men, maybe that's the time for you to hire more men in nursing. Or if you're hiring a specific, if you cater to a specific group of patients who belong to a specific maybe religion, do we have somebody? Because sometimes it's easier for them to connect if they see that we are very diverse, right? Even if they're not directly their nurse, if they see them in the hallway, and that's one thing to really be inclusive, right? I think that's one way. And also being open. Sometimes there's a specific template already on a specific unit, right? So this department has been, there's 100% retention, but they're all maybe belong to Generation X, right? So are they going to be open when you hire a millennial or a Gen Z to that group? So I think those are the things that, as nurse leaders needs to look at. How are we going to diversify our workforce so that we can cater to our patients and to our community more effectively?
Thank you so much, Dr. Prudencio. Another question coming in from one of our participants, and he asks, "Is there any requirements or qualification to be a good mentor?"
Yeah. So, I think that would depend on a specific organization. So I would challenge you to really look at the different literature and use evidence-based practice on looking what is appropriate for you. But the basic requirements will say, a good communicator. Um, it doesn't matter. Sometimes, you would see literature saying at least 1 year in that specific unit. Some literature will say at least 6 months, um, because it's important to have that at least 6 months in the unit so that when the mentee asks you advices of the unit culture, they will be able to help you assimilate to that culture. But basically, it's really just sometimes, the longevity in the unit, um, a good communication, and the intent to mentor, right? Sometimes managers tend to like, hey, you're going to be a good mentor, sign up for this. But then what if they don't have that initiative, right? So they would just be forced to mentor somebody. So I think main three things is being a good communicator, openness to mentor that initiative, as well as maybe a little bit of longevity in that specific unit so they could effectively help them navigate and adjust to that culture. Hopefully that answers your question.
Impacts workplace culture or clinical outcome.
Say that again.
From Christy Gale po.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think hold on. I think I saw that. Is that the question on hold on. The bias or is a question about are there any studies or data showing how bias among senior nurses impact or workplace culture? Yes, so there are studies about that because, and again, it talks about the generational style, right? Gone are the days that we should be eating our youngs, and you probably have heard that, eating our young, and we should really shy away from that, and it should not be happening anymore. Because if we fully understand the different generational characteristics, we will be able to understand their strength rather than focuses on their weaknesses, right? Because different generations, have distinct characteristics, and I apologize. That video kind of like explains that too. But the learning from this is really, we all come from different generations, different genders, different backgrounds. But what we should be focusing on is what are they bringing to the table, right? Everyone has their own distinct characteristics and different strengths. So why don't we utilize those strengths so we can, make our team better instead of focusing on their weaknesses. So as a more senior nurse, as a more experienced nurse, how can I help this new grad utilize his strength than than generalizing what is, maybe a wrong bias that you have in that specific generation. So sometimes, it's also like an old saying that, sometimes there's a rotten fruit in the tree. Sometimes we exert so much effort in that, low bearing fruit, but there are a lot of good fruit around us, right? So why don't we instead focus our attention on maximizing the good fruit around us rather than picking on that one low hanging fruit? Because if we work together, we can help this specific person. So same thing with different generation, right? Um, there's different characteristics. The Gen Z's are technologically savvy. Utilize them. Have them. They want to share. They have a lot of energy. So what we need to do is to really maximize that. Maybe give them something that they are very interested in, and then in that way we can see a lot of potentials, and they would feel belong because you are entrusting them in a specific skill. So same thing with maybe a Gen X or a baby boomer. If you think that they need an update, right? So maybe give them a different activity or activity or task wherein they can learn new skills. So again, I think my message is really maximizing each one's potential and looking at different generation. What are they bringing to the table? And if you are able to understand and learn the different you know strengths of your employee,
Hindi ka
um,
makita yung ano, shared.
your unit will be really, really effective towards, diversity or diversifying your workforce. So hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you, Dr. Prudencio, for sharing your insight on this po, no? So, parang the bottom line is really focusing and maximizing the strength of each generation so we can produce a very great outcome, no, to our team. Okay, so perhaps our last question will come from our Deputy Executive Director, Dr. Nelisa M. Jorial. Dr. Jorial.
Hello, Dr. Perencio, Dr. Dennis. Thank you very much for sharing your time and knowledge to more than how many participants do we have right now? More than 1,000 participants. Now, I just want to ask you this question. How do mentors navigate the tension between offering emotional support and maintaining professional boundaries?
Yes. So I think, and that is, we are just human, right? Sometimes we tend to be very emotional. But remember that mentoring focuses on the mentee. And when you talk to the mentees, you're using a lot of reflective questioning. So reflective questioning, as in that mentoring relationship, the difference between a mentor and a preceptor, the preceptor really provides the answer, right? When they're new hire, when they're learning something, but the mentor is really using reflective questioning. As nurses and everyone in healthcare, we have the tendency when someone goes to us and asks question, we tend to give them the question right away, right? Like, or the answer right away. So the tendency is, we're spoon feeding them. In mentoring, the most important thing that we have to do is to use reflective questioning in a way that you're not providing them answers, but you're utilizing those questions to help them come up with their own answers. And I think that would really prevent the tension between the two of you, because the two mentor mentee have different answers, right? And we always tend to sometimes nagagalit tayo if like, that's not what I meant, right? Or that's not the answer that I want to hear from you. But instead of doing that, maybe reflective questions. So what do you think about, what do you think happened? Or how does that make you feel? Or, keep asking those questions until they would figure out the answer. And that would limit that tension. But of course, if there's really different views and opinion that would lead to tension, I think really what I mentioned earlier in the slide about, differences are not good and bad. They're just different, right? We have to accept the differences and find the commonalities in them. And I think, sometimes there are conversations that may be offensive to the others. And I think that's very important to lay it out in the beginning, right? So when you create your partnership agreement, you can say, these are the things that hindi natin pwedeng pag-usapan. We cannot talk about politics. We cannot talk about, China Sea or whatever. Because if that irritates you easily, if that mentor be irritated easily, then that's something that you want to, you know, lay out as a boundary at the beginning. But if you really cannot avoid that, and sometimes in mentoring, you may regret saying something, right? So after that conversation, you kind of like felt like umalis ka in that meeting like heavily, heart with a heavy heart. They say, parang na-offend ko yung mentee ko, right? So sometimes it can happen. Like, did I say it? Then you can ask for feedback. And that's a good thing about this mentoring relationship because you can always ask feedback. Is that something that offended you? Help me understand, right? Because sometimes you don't know that, this could be your own bias and you said something to that person. And then if they don't explain that to you, you will never understand, right? So sometimes we say, if I hear something na, oh, yung mga Gen Z text lang ng text, I would say, ouch. So they can be aware. Sometimes they're not aware. Or sometimes you can say, oh, help me understand. Maybe we can talk later after the meeting. Help me understand why, that person was offended. There are some instances that, like for example, during the Ramadan, right? You may be inviting that person, say, oh, let's go have lunch. And then nag-roll na lang siya ng eyes. Kasi hindi mo alam na nagfa-fasting siya. So those instances, you have to have that conversation, say, oh, I didn't understand. Can we talk after the meeting, right? And then you can explain that, hey, kasi nagpa-fasting ako, or I'm observing this specific religion, practice, and stuff like that, right? So hopefully that answers your question, Dr. Jerry.
Yeah,
And
thank you very much.
it's always good to see you.
See you too. I hope to see you again here in the Philippines when you visit.
Yes.
Once again, thank you for your generous response to the questions, Dr. Prudencio, and we truly appreciate the clarity and depth of your answer. Your depth of experience and passion for advancing the nursing profession came through so clearly in your talk.
Thank you.
So with the interest of time po, so we will not be entertaining the questions anymore. So we can proceed with the next part of our program. On behalf of everyone here, we sincerely thank you for your time, wisdom, and the inspiration you've given us today. We are honored to have learned from you, Dr. Florencio. So as a token of your heartfelt appreciation, we would like to present you with this certificate of appreciation, not only for sharing your expertise today, but also for your dedication to the nursing profession. Let me read the citation. The National Kidney and Transplant Institute Nursing Services. This certificate of appreciation is proudly presented to Dr. Dennis Angelo M. Prudencio for sharing his valuable insight and knowledge as guest speaker during the 5th National Nursing Conference held today, October 24, 2025 via Zoom webinar at this institute. Signed by the head of the Nursing and Service Training and Education Unit, Ms. Veritas P. Bautista, by Dr. Hazel M. Villafranca, the overall chairperson of the Nursing Month celebration, and Dr. Nerissa M. Jerial, the Deputy Executive Director for Nursing Services. We hope, Dr. Prudencio, this small gesture reflects our deep gratitude for the time, energy, and inspiration you've shared with us. Thank you po for being with us today and for continuing to lead the way for future generations of nurse leaders. Let's give Dr. Prudencio another round of applause.
Thank you very much.
At this juncture, may we request a photo opportunity with Dr. Prudencio. We would kindly ask all panelists to turn on their camera for the photo.
Paano mo maging balik mo? Nakikita na. Dapat na share eh.
Okay. One, two, three.
Mm.
Okay, sorry, isa pa po. One more time.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2.
Ano ko naman, hide ko lang yung mga
1, 2, 3. Ayan po. Thank you very much. Isa pa po. One more po. One last na. Final answer na po ito. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Prudencio, for your talk today.
Hindi ko lang naiintindihan.
Oh. Now, to close our lineup of remarkable session, we have our third and final speaker, someone whose expertise bridge innovation and humanity. Our third distinguished speaker, a multi-awarded leader and mentor whose extraordinary breadth of knowledge has empowered professionals and organizations across multiple industries. Mr. Orias is a highly accomplished management consultant known for his deep expertise in operational excellence, project management, quality management, and IT governance. With decades of experience, he has guided numerous organizations towards sustainable success and has mentored countless professionals with mastering the strategies and systems that drive performance and innovation. Mr. Orias serves as an adjunct faculty member at the Asian Institute of Management, where he shares his insights and wisdom with the next generation of business and management leaders. His real-world expertise stem from having worked with global Fortune 500 companies such as Intel, Hewlett-Packard, Oracle, and United Health Group. He also served for over 13 years on the Audit and Market Surveillance Committee at the Philippine Electricity Market Corporation, ensuring the integrity, transparency, and operational efficiency of the country's energy market. His credentials speaks volumes about his commitment to excellence. Among his many qualifications such as or certifications such as Certified Manager of Quality and Organizational Excellence, Six Sigma Master Black Belt, Project Management Professional, Agile Scrum Master, and multiple IT and governance certification, including CISA, CISM, CRISC, CGEIT, and ITIL for managing profession. He also holds lead auditor certification in ISO 9001 and ISO 27001 and is a proud holder of 2 U.S. patents, testaments to his intellect, innovation, and global impact. An engineer by training and a strategist by profession, Mr. Orias holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and a master's of degree in management engineering. We are deeply honored to have him with us today to share his wealth of knowledge and experience. Let us all welcome Mr. Christian Orias with a warm round of applause as he shares his insight on technology and nursing, bridging human touch with digital innovation.
All right. All right. So thank you so much, Heidi, for that very wonderful introduction. Anyway, all right. So I wanted to bid everybody, well, it's ano na, no, afternoon na, no? So I want to good afternoon na to everyone. So I'm very happy to be with the team today. So just like I guess one of the key things, one of the most remarkable thing that I noticed in our conference is that we are joined by more than 1,000 siguro na nursing professional. All right. So I guess before I start yung aking short talk, about the cusp between technology and the nursing profession. I wanted na siguro to congratulate and compliment the presentations of Dr. Neris and Dr. Dennis. No, I myself learned a lot from their lectures a while ago. Anyway, so I guess before I started to share yung insights ko around technology, um, yung topic that I'd like to discuss with the team today is somewhat different na from what Dr. Dennis and Dr. Neris mentioned a while ago kasi they touch on self-efficacy, no, and yung psychological dimension of I guess yung topics around nursing. But yung topic ko today that I'd like to share with the team is somewhat ano naman medyo related to structure and technology. All right? But nonetheless, I hope that although medyo technology oriented yung aking topic today, I hope that still you will still find it um useful and relevant to the nursing profession. All right. So give me a minute lang to I guess pull up the PowerPoint presentation that I prepared for our discussion today. Why am I not seeing it here? Okay. Okay. I hope that everybody can see my screen. Can I see a thumbs up? If Heidi, can you confirm? Can you
Mr.
see my
Arias,
presentation?
Mr.
Yun
Arias,
na?
we can see
Alright.
na po the
Excellent. All right, so
the slide
for
there.
the interest of time, no, I'll keep my presentation short. Well, actually, I designed the our discussion today as very brief lang, So just like I guess what the title implies, no, I wanted to share with you some insights that it's insights and expertise around technology. I am not a nurse, no, by training or profession. I do not have any medical degree, but I am quite familiar with hospital operations because many of my consulting engagements and practices involves really finding opportunities on how to improve the operational efficiency, economics, and effectiveness of hospital operations. So I bring with me my my experience naman on operation sides of running a hospital. All right, so I guess when it comes to the nursing profession, I think naman everybody will agree, no, that siguro in the recent years, we've already seen yung a massive uptake no ng the use of technology, right? In the medical field and even sa atin sa nursing profession. I think si Dr. Prudentia a while ago mentioned this, right? Because of the pandemic, right? There was yung healthcare, probably all sectors naman have learned to embrace yung technology as an essential tool for helping us basically get through yung day-to-day na activities natin. So I guess we cannot really discount yung power the technology has, right? And in the way they they aid yung ating trabaho as nurses. All right. Now, despite this, I guess um one of the key challenges of us nurses, although I'm not a nurse, but tayo, everybody in the call today, is that yung nursing profession natin basically sit at the cusp, yung intersection between maintaining yung empathy, that is inherent within yung within our role, and efficiency, right? We say efficiency, I mean, at the end of the day, you all know this, right? I know how hard you guys work, no? You spend countless hours extending care naman to our patient. But apart from extending kasi care, we all know that meron tayong other activities, other operational tasks, no, that we have to really accomplish pa din or fulfill, no. We have I know that we are all burdened, no, as nurses. We're burdened with a lot of um I guess operational ministerial tasks, like documentation, right? And we have to conserve yung oras natin. I do understand that kasi I audit different parts of the hospital, whether emergency man yan, ancillary units natin and all, and I can see that nurses, you know no you amount of energy that you spend, no, is really tremendous, and then you have to balance between you know an ailing patient, and when at the end of the day you have to account for a lot of things and doing a lot of the documentation. So it basically yung trabaho natin basically demands two things, empathy and efficiency at the same time, right? So I guess from the empathy side, the technology cannot really, no, help us on that aspect. But I think from an efficiency standpoint, from an efficiency perspective, that's technically where technology can really, help the nursing profession. All right. So yung topic that I'd like to discuss today, with all of you is this simply this, So I wanted us to explore, as a group. I'm the technologist, no, you are the clinicians, let's explore how can technology ba talaga enhance, right? Yung enhance, how can it magnify, no? How can it complement yung ability natin to extend compassionate care, right? And how do we maintain, despite yung the massive technology around us, behind us, and in front of us, how can yung nursing profession basically sustain and maintain yung human-centered services? Now, why am I emphasizing on the concept of human-centered services? Kasi basically, guys, if you if you look around, and I'm pretty sure you see this and you notice this, you are surrounded by massive technology. For example, just like yesterday, I was auditing a dialysis center. In a dialysis center, I was seeing mostly nurses. I don't, I rarely see doctors there. So you have nurses, catering now to dialysis patients and all, and I can see a lot of machines, no, around us. And then you will see naman the patients naman, no, are and they're the ones that take care of them. They hold with them cell phones, eh, right? They relate, no, so nurses, even patients, and no, caretakers of the patients. There's always technology in front of us, right? And I was involved in a massive study around yung interaction, no, of patients with technology, pero ang essence nila is robots yung nag-extend ng care and not human beings, right? So there are now certain moves or certain initiatives na ngayon wherein because of siguro scarcity in yung no ng nurses natin, they're now yung medical profession, at least a facet of our medical profession ngayon, are now trying to see how can robots, no, and I'm saying robots, and these are robots with physical form, not robots like a software, no, how can robots basically parang extend, no, yung care pero in the absence of humans. Right? So meron ng studies and directions towards that. And I've seen a number of studies na around no yung positive impact of no yung robots or technology, no, in extending care. Right? So that's why I'm emphasizing, at least in this slide, that we should sustain and retain pa din yung human-centered na no aspect of delivering care. But we are not discounting the fact that technology really is a game changer, no, in the nursing profession. So that's partly partly what I would like us to explore today, no. Anyway, so I guess this is one thing that I want us to I guess realize and appreciate, that no that yung nurse, yung landscape natin where we operate as nurses has changed dramatically. Right? Back then, 'di ba, I'm pretty sure, I'm old enough naman to really say and attest, no, that that back then, very manual pa, right? Yung things that typically that nurses do, 'di ba? We have yung no flip charts, we keep on writing a lot of things, pen and paper style pa rin tayo, etc. But now, and many of the machines back then were relatively analog, right? But over the decades, you've seen, 'di ba, that many of the technologies that we're using as nurses and we are accustomed to have now shifted to from manual to no more digital, the digital versions of it, of itself, right? Yung mga tools and mechanisms natin. But have you guys noticed that from manual to digital, we are now moving towards a far advanced na stage in technology, right? Maybe some of you have already encountered or probably are quite familiar na many of the medical devices, that we are using now in our hospitals are already AI powered. So when I mean AI, it means it's now embedded with artificial intelligence, machine learning, cognitive computing. right? So I know that these are no, these are technological terms that maybe many of our nurses are maybe these are the terms that are new to most of our nurses, but I'm speaking now in terms of in terms of experience as a technologist, right? And as someone who is very very passionate about improving processes, especially sa healthcare, that it's already a fact, no, sa nursing profession, sa healthcare, no, sa especially sa clinical practices natin, that yung operations natin are really moving now towards talaga the use of more advanced technology, particularly artificial intelligence. All right? Now, that being the case, it raises ngayon yung imperative sa mga nurses natin to really improve ngayon yung kanilang technological fluency. Right? We really have to be, kailangan maging tech native na tayo, just like the younger generation. For example, I have 3 kids, no? My 3 kids ko, when they hold, no, anything electronic, it comes natural to them, eh. Right? So no, no, that same skill, no, or that same orientation is now demanded na ngayon from our nurses. And not only from nurses but also for no, doctors and everybody basically in the hospital, right? So apart from technological fluency, no, as nurses we really have to leverage doon sa yung analytical power, no, that technology or artificial intelligence is offering us, right? I know a lot of I converse with doctors like practically every day, because of my profession. And I talk to a lot of doctors right now that that they are also leveraging on artificial intelligence to guide them doon sa kanilang consultations. For example, they maraming charts. If you can, I dare you do this, no, I encourage you to do this. If you have access to GPT, mag-upload kayo, say for example, ng film that has I don't know, an MIR scan or probably a chest X-ray. Ask ChatGPT to interpret it, and you will be surprised that ChatGPT and similar um AI powered tools like that, they can interpret it fairly precisely. They can interpret it as good as any as good as any doctor. That's why many doctors now, no, to validate ngayon or to have a parang a second second somewhat like a second perspective of their I guess yung kanilang opinion, they would ask AI, eh. Right? So you will see now, no, that many clinicians now, doctors, even doctors, are already leveraging on artificial intelligence. So tayo din as nurses, I really encourage that we we start na siguro exploring na ngayon, many mechanisms na ngayon that are AI powered that can help us na ngayon get through yung chaos that we typically encounter in day to day. And I'm going to share with you some technologies that could probably help us, no, as nurses. That will provide obviously tremendous benefits for the nursing profession. All right, so ito ngayon yon. So out of the many things that I wanted siguro to share, no, yung power of technology, I've listed here 4 aspects where technology can help the nursing profession. But the first one is efficiency, right? We all know this, no, as nurses, di ba? You are swamped with so many routine documentation. Right? I was just chatting with one of the head of the nursing department of one of the hospitals that I'm supporting right now. Right? May turnaround time pala, right? Yung parang nursing notes natin that goes to yung mga charts, right? That there's a specific turnaround time that that you have to document everything, and then goes now to the medical records. Right? So it's part of our job basically is apart from extending care, just like what I mentioned a while ago, no, a lot of ministerial documentation that goes with the job, right? Second aspect where technology I think can help would be reducing ngayon errors related that is inherent in our job. For example, medication errors, right? Itong issue ng medication errors is common to most hospitals, if not all hospitals, right? Just like I was just like what I mentioned a while ago. No, I was doing an audit on a dialysis center. This is part of a hospital, no. And then one of the things that was that was shared to me was one of the most serious errors that they recently did. When I say recently did, it was just last week, right? Was that muntik na magkapalit yung dialyzer, right? Now for a different patient. And it was actually the patient who noticed that yung dialyzer that was supposed to be mounted na ngayon, to be used na ngayon dun sa sa dialysis machine niya, was not his. it was for a different patient. You can probably see now how ano no how bad that could have been kung ano no kung hindi na spot yung error na yon. So yung medication error ngayon, medication related errors ngayon natin or medication errors natin is a very serious threat to to the nursing profession. So I guess technology can definitely help with improving accuracy. The other aspect na ngayon probably would be access to medical care, pero dapat beyond hospital walls. Right? I'm seeing this now basically as ano no as a massive market no for hospitals no. So the question now is this how can we extend nursing care or how can we extend medical or health care outside hospital walls? So dito ngayon pumapasok everybody yung yung power of remote technology. And I'm going to cite a number of technologies that can help facilitate this. And then lastly, ito na yung yung empower. How do we now empower yung nurses natin to make better decisions? Right? So we do that. We all know naman, 'di ba, that every day, every minute, we're in front of a patient. We make decisions and many of those decisions are critical and crucial. We do not rely naman, 'di ba, yung all decisions to doctors 'di ba, at a great degree tayo since we have longer face time with patients than doctors more often than not. We decide, 'di ba? There's we make small decisions, but these decisions are while small or might not compare to the doctor's decision, they are as critical, right? So the question now is this, how can our technology improve our ability to make better decisions in a more proactive way? All right. So, for example, let's go through this list ko yung efficiency, accuracy, access and empowerment. So, what are certain technologies that can help yung efficiency ng doctors ng nurses natin? So, I've listed here obviously a number of technologies. Meron tayong EHRs So EHRs are fairly common na ngayon with many hospitals, especially yung move natin towards digitization. So, it usually complement yung ating HIMSS, yung ating hospital information management system. So we have now yung electronic health records, right? A source ngayon of patient related information. But the question now is this, and what can now help us basically create ngayon yung ating electronic health records as nurses. So we can technically leverage on AI powered ngayon na voice recognition. So what this technology does is basically instead of you writing it, you just simply talk. Right? It's probably you talking, the patient talking, or probably the doctor talking, right? And then we're probably in a conference, and then you can now use this technology to to transcribe na everything that is being discussed into basically a neat form of I don't know, nurses notes, right? So that later on gets embedded na ngayon to yung patient documentation or records natin. All right? So what's now the power of these types of technologies? This basically spares us na ngayon more time that instead of doing ministerial work, we can now spend na ngayon yung more time na ngayon really extending real care, right? So yung value ngayon of leveraging on these types of technologies. All right. Now, doon naman sa issue na ngayon natin ng documentation ng accuracy. For example, medication error, right? One of the most, I guess, useful technologies that I've seen so far, and I've seen this in some hospitals, in some other clinics, is the use ngayon of barcodes. Yung barcodes na nagkakaroon ng matching, di ba, between the patient and whatever medication that is well technically supposed to be given to the person. So to minimize ngayon yung propensity for errors. I've seen sadly kasi I've seen many hospitals we're still using yung we're still relying na ngayon on charts right? But what if say for example you find we are able to find a way to somewhat semi-automated kung saan nagkakaroon ng 'di ba ng checking between the patient usually 'di ba may armband or probably a barcode or a QR code and then we simply gun it and then see and then compare is this really yung medication of the same dose associated with this person. Say for example there's one De La Cruz, all of them, right? 3 lying down, right? How would you now know that your medication that you're extending is to the right one De La Cruz that you are caring for, right? So yung mga ganun. So I think yung barcode medication administration systems, many of these are also AI powered na, right? So in my presentation, I'm noting down the names of the technologies if in case you get interested in learning more about them. Ano ba types of technologies? Anong brand, for example, relates ngayon to the technologies that we're discussing? Then you can revert back to the presentation that I'm currently sharing with all of us right now. All right, so yung question naman about ano no, how do we now extend care beyond the hospital? Right? So, marami ng ways, 'di ba, during the pandemic, 'di ba, nagkaroon tayo ng ano no, ng massive I guess massive affinity na with telemedicine. So, yung telemedicine is still happening now. Many patients pa din, and many doctors are still are subscribing to this type of platforms, right? Pero to complement ngayon telemedicine, there's another type of technology called remote patient monitoring. All right, yung tinatawag na RPM. So RPMs basically they leverage on mechanisms. So for example, yung mga no, wearables, right? It can be it can be an armband, a leg band, or probably something that you tie to your neck, or probably you loop to your neck, And then they basically track ngayon your vitals, right? And then what happens is that itong mga technologies na to, they send ngayon, right, yung yung information na yan through the internet, and then it gets fed na ngayon to a console in the hospital. Right? So it tracks ngayon yung vital signs natin, every minute or every second, so that you will see na ngayon basically kung nagkakaroon ng progression or regression doon sa health of a patient, especially for the elderly or those suffering from chronic diseases. So instead of flooding, 'di ba, yung ating hospital, especially ating emergency rooms, no, with patients, no, that for us, sometimes can get very crazy, right? So there's an opportunity for us to track ngayon yung health of patients na ngayon at the comfort of their homes. But we cannot do that manually. Obviously, we need to we need the facilitation and aid of certain technologies, and we can leverage on these technologies right now. For example, Patient Connect. Now, Patient Connect is one of the popular kasi na platforms that other countries are currently using right now. All right. And then lastly, you have ngayon yung mga CDSS, no, clinical decision support systems, and AI-powered early warning systems and mobile apps, no. These technologies basically they have the power to provide insights. These are evidence-based, these are data-driven insights, So they basically collect data, right? And then they apply they apply artificial intelligence, they have the power to diagnose and then provide recommendations later on. Right? So it makes ngayon decision making very, very, very fast and very, very efficient. Yun nga lang siya, obviously, this can have its all of these technologies that I mentioned a while ago, they have their inherent downsides. Right? For example, in this case, if we now rely too much now on yung AI powered the technologies like this, baka mami we eventually na ngayon, 'di ba, become too dependent and hindi na tayo mag-isip. Right? That we basically say na lang, oh, AI says kasi that we do this and we do that, right? And that's very dangerous. So, the intention basically is not to replace yung judgment natin, yung better judgment natin with AI's, own insights, no? But rather we use it lang talaga really as a complement or probably a way lang to provide an alternate insight or probably a way to to validate or verify that yung natin yung decisions natin are more likely than not, but not absolute, more likely than not is correct. All right? All right. So you'll probably see, guys, that yung the use of artificial intelligence, yung advanced technologies natin, it's already a reality, no, yung use nito continues na ngayon to advance, no, within our field. Hindi na to tech in engineering na lang, but also in healthcare, no. Artificial intelligence na really slowly creeping into our dimension, right? And we can see naman yung mga technologies that I mentioned a while ago are really related, no, to many of them are really designed to to help the nursing profession. I am now going to ask a very, very serious question to everybody in the call today. All right? Now, judging na ngayon from what we've learned, what I've discussed, right? And realities natin on the use of artificial intelligence. My question now to the team is this. Do you think, guys, that artificial intelligence can replace nurses na? So I'd like to see I guess comments from our chat. What do you guys think? Do you feel threatened ba that si AI can replace your job? What do you guys think? Anybody from the call? Do you think that artificial intelligence can replace nurses na? What do you guys think? Or you're confident that you'll be able to keep your jobs despite yung advances in artificial intelligence? Yeah? Yeah, anyway, I cannot see kasi the chat, but nonetheless, I'm pretty sure that some of you are probably responding. So if artificial intelligence can replace nurses, well, actually, I don't think that it can, and I'll provide you proof later on. Probably the better question is that to what extent do we think AI or advanced technologies can replicate or replace some of the things that we do? But there will always be that ano no, that aspect in nursing that no amount of artificial intelligence can replace or even replicate. All right? So yung next few slides ko, and next few things that I'd like to discuss with the team is to basically give you that assurance, our beloved nurses, no, that while artificial intelligence is here to stay and will probably evolve, no, in the coming years, in the coming decades, I think there is still that aspect in the nursing profession, in what we do, that artificial intelligence can never replace. All right? And ano ngayon yon, right? So ito ngayon, so I've identified ngayon three studies, ano, and these are very recent studies, ano, that basically attests that while artificial intelligence, no, bears with it, tremendous na na benefits, it cannot really, no, replace yung emotional intelligence, empathy, no, and yung yung innate understanding natin sa patients, no, which is basically crucial, to our profession. Right? No matter how intelligent pa yung AI na yan, right? Whoever comes up ngayon with with mga super AI, yung mga hyper AIs natin, I think no amount of machine, right, can really replace yung yung empathy that that humans, can actually extend, especially our nurses. All right? So another study basically says the same thing, right? Pero meron siyang certain caution, right? That yung probably advancement in AI in the probably in the near future, wherein people na ngayon become accustomed to the use of AI. For example, in my case, I'm a heavy user of of AI platforms, ChatGPT being one of them, right? So there's a risk, no, for us sa hospital, especially us, no, as nurses, if we rely too much na ngayon on AI, or people lang in society na ngayon relies too much on AI, it might run the risk down, no, of dehumanizing healthcare. All right? And then potentially diminishing daw yung nurse-patient relationship. Okay, now, there is some truth to this, kasi there's a study, no, that I encountered a few weeks back, kung saan there are no they're now, just like what I mentioned a while ago, no, they are now attempting or studying na ngayon how the elderly, for example, in Japan and Europe, will react na ngayon to a robot. Right? So there's a robot called Paro and Pepper. So these are two separate robots, And there have been studies, around the use of Paro, and Paro is a seal, eh. It's like a stuffed toy, no. Si Pepper naman is a is parang humanoid, no. And then nakita nila that that yung mga elderly, over the span of several weeks, they've grown, nag-build siya ng certain affinity with the robot. And these are not people, ha? When you say nag-build a certain affinity, since the robot kasi interacts, no, with the patient, it talks, no, it comforts, no, it reacts, no, to conversations with with patients. Yung patients, they adjust their behavior in such a way, no, that that interacts ngayon well with with the robot. Kung saan it was proven daw that yung patients natin are also reciprocating yung care to the robot. It means that nagbi-build siya ng relationship. Right? Robot and patient dito, ha? Right? So in that aspect, you will see, no, na medyo there's truth to to the conclusion of the study, no, na baka mamaya na de-dehumanize na. All right, yung healthcare natin, because of yung trajectory natin towards the use of artificial intelligence, right? And then lastly, this is the last study that I've seen, related to nursing and the use of of artificial intelligence. But again, re-emphasizing the same message, right? That that AI, no matter how intelligent, no, it probably evolves to later on, it really cannot replace yung core aspect of what true nursing care is all about. Okay? At the end of the day, 'di ba, tayo, we sincerely, we tayo as human beings, 'di ba? We sincerely, exemplify kasi talaga real empathy, real emotions, and sincere care, which I think, no, AI can never deliver. These are not sentient kasi beings, no, yung AI. We are, right? So I wanted lang siguro to conclude yung ating short talk, at least yung my part of this, my part of our conference, no, around yung yung assurance, no, that that at the end of the day, no, as a summary to what we're discussing, that while technology, is a powerful tool, no, that streamlines, no, and really improves yung efficiency, efficacy, and even economics ng what we do as nurses, no? And we are grateful, no, to technology for that. I think at the end of the day, we remind ourselves, we should remind ourselves, and we should remind our patients, no, in the general public, that technology, no matter how great it is, how great it can be or evolve later in the future, no, it cannot really replace, no, yung intuition, yung empathy and compassion that gives thou care its true meaning. Right? So at the end of the day, what we're saying is that it's actually the nurse, not the mechanism, right? That that mediates compassion, hindi the other way around. Right? We do not relate, we are not saying that we will evolve into a society kung saan yung technology basically, right, mediates compassion. Right? Hindi ganon. It's really us pa din at the end of the day, right? That that would exemplify ngayon yung compassion na yan. Technology lang basically helps us simply amplifies lang yung ability ng nurses natin to extend care. But at the end of the day, it's still yung nurses natin who's going to exemplify, no, and demonstrate yung care na yan sa sa pasyente natin. We just simply have to really make use of technology and how can we amplify ngayon yung ability na yun to care. Okay? All right, so I guess that ends my short, I guess, presentation and my insight around technology, sitting in between us and the patient. Okay? All right, so maraming salamat po. Yun lang po ang aking what I prepared for our talk today. I hope that you found yung ating discussion insightful and useful.
Thank you very much po, Mr. Orias, for that insightful and thought-provoking presentation. Ang dami natin natutunan. Sabi ko nga, I myself learned a lot that talaga naman ang technology is really a game changer, especially in our landscape in the healthcare where it's really fast-paced na. And then, sir, no, we can really leverage on the technology para ma-streamline yung ating mga nursing activities, nursing routines. Nasabi nyo nga po, na yung mga ministerial work or repetitive work, we make it automated, digital, para po we can focus our time on doing direct patient care
Right.
more efficiently. So thank you for also running down some of the technological advancement that we have today, not only here but internationally, the barcode system, telemedicine, and then some of the clinical decision support system. And then EMR is also in the pipeline, no?
Right.
Talagang we are really looking forward to that. So we also have a lot of engagement here in our chat box, So perhaps later I will read it, Mr. Orias. But at this point po, we'd like to open muna the floor for a brief question and answer session. So if anyone from the audience has question or insight they'd like to share, please type in your question. May insight si Pierre Percival, si Mr. Pierre Percival. Sabi po niya, Mr. Orias, is that technology serve as a powerful tool that streamline nursing tasks and amplifies our nursing ability to render care. However, it cannot replace the intuition, yung empathy and compassion that gives care its meaning. So ultimately, it's not the nurse, not the tool who transform technology into compassion. Okay, so perhaps this one is a question po, Mr. Orias, no? So, what practical advice po can you give to nursing leaders who want to integrate new technologies in their units but are met with resistance from staff?
Right. No, wow. Well, that's very typical, yung meeting resistance, Well, technically, I guess meeting resistance is not limited only to technology, right? I think everybody can relate to that, no? Anything that you introduce, probably something new, right? That is that the hospital or probably management is accustomed to. They will always, probably by default, you can expect that they will resist it. So my practical advice as a management consultant, to get through yung to get your point through, in executive, is at the end of the day you have to rationalize yung use of yung technology or whatever it is that you are proposing, into three aspects, right? Firstly, how will this make yung trabaho ninyo more effective? Right? Meaning whatever goal, whatever objective yung yung gusto niyo ma-achieve as a department or sa goal, how does it facilitate it? Right? That's one, effectiveness. Pangalawa, basically is efficiency. Will this make your job faster? Will this make someone else's job faster? Will this lead to higher patient satisfaction, for example? Right? And then thirdly, and I think the most important, no, not really most important, but equally important to sa effectiveness and efficiency is the economics of it. If whatever you're proposing has cost, right? By default, I'm telling you now, no, that you will meet resistance, right? So what you need now to do as a matter of strategy is that you want to make sure that yung cost, right, associated to what you are proposing is far lower than the economic benefit ng efficiency and effectiveness that yung proposal mo basically is offering. If you can put forth ngayon yung argument mo that way, then you now land ngayon yung better chance of better land yung better chance of getting a nod and getting a yes. All right. So to answer your question, how no how do what do I do no if you propose and you meets resistance, that's my practical advice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Orias. Another question coming in from Miss Marie Cres de la Torre. Which AI tool has the most accurate result that you can recommend to be used for medical professionals?
Again, sorry Heidi, I did not hear it well enough. What AI
Okay.
tool is?
Tinatanong po ni Miss Marie Cres de la Cruz, Sir Orias, is that which
Yeah.
AI tools among which ever is available po sa ating market today has the most accurate result that you can recommend po yung accessible, affordable po to be
All
used
right.
for medical professionals?
Well, it's too broad, no, yung question. So there's really not I'm not very I cannot answer that with specific technology or probably specific brand. Kasi different facets of hospital operations, they make use of different type of different type of AI powered na mechanisms eh. But in terms of what is useful, maybe you could probably start with ChatGPT, right? It's not really a medical device, pero what I've seen, mga clinicians natin are using, and even many of our nurses, they leverage on yung very cheap, very sometimes free pa nga, na types of AI powered mechanism. So if I were to provide you, I don't know, an advice or recommendation where to start, no, sa hospital natin, make use of ChatGPT and you'll be surprised, doon sa benefit that it gives. It's free, by the way, no? So you don't really the hospital doesn't really have to spend much, to leverage on its power. Many of the AR powered kasi mechanism. So recently, I was evaluating yung use ng ng isang dialyzer that that leverages on artificial intelligence. It's very fairly costly. It's 15 million, right? So it's not really cheap, but it's powerful. But nonetheless, no, it's useful at the end of the day. Right?
Okay, so yan, Sir Orias, no, we better start with the ones accessible
Yeah,
or on
libre
hand
na eh.
na and libre
Right.
pa, di ba? Yung ChatGPT, which very practical to use every time we have some questions or want to have some clarification. Sabi mo nga, this one is being used by doctors parang to validate lang what
Yeah,
they have in mind. So,
right.
okay. So I
But the
hope
problem
Miss
with this, extend ko lang, Heidi, no? The problem also is that patients also, they ask ChatGPT to no, for self-diagnosis. So ibig sabihin they don't go to the doctors na. So they ask na rin oh, masakit yung ganito ko, I'm feeling this way, what do I do? So they rely na ngayon. But what's happening na ngayon, which is sad, no? Is that we're replacing na ngayon yung doctors natin with AI. So yun naman yung nagiging downside ng super accessible and super free na no, na technologies like ChatGPT, right? So we
Agree
caution
po.
everybody not to do that, no.
Yeah. Thank you po, Sir Orias. And then finally, our last question is that how do you see emerging technologies like AI and data analytics shaping the
Yeah.
role of nurses in the next 5 to 10 years po?
Oh, well, I guess we don't have to, ano, no, wait for, ano, no, 10 years or 5 years. I think it will dramatically, ano, no, dramatically shift. Well, it will dramatically improve, no, yung the way we do our jobs, no, as nurses. So if you're going to ask me, what do I see? I think we will have more dependence on AI powered technologies na in the near future. Hindi to far future, near future siya. Just to paint a picture everyone, the US Department of Health recently approved almost 700 AI powered medical devices. And there are thousands of AI powered machines na and mechanisms that are available in the market. Right? Even the United Nations, no, have already recognized that yung artificial intelligence is a game changer, is a breakthrough na talaga sa medical profession natin. So will be really AI enabled na tayo, AI powered na ang ating mga nurses. So that's how I see our future.
Thank you, Sir Ora. So siguro sa amin, sabi mo nga kanina on your talk, so for us to adopt on that landscape, no, in the very near future, is that we should be more on technological savvy. We should be more
Right.
flexible and open into learning more about this technology and not to resist it. Especially
Mhm.
ngayon as this have a lot of benefits, especially sa aming profession po. Okay, thank you very much po. Ma'am Nerys would like to add something po or perhaps throw in some questions.
Hello, Mr. Christian. Good afternoon. Good afternoon naman. Yeah. Thank you
Oo.
very much
Thank you,
for
Miss
sharing
Neris, for
your
inviting me.
time and knowledge. Once again, favorite ko tong speaker kaya we invited him once again. No, I just want to ask, if technology overshadows the human connection in nursing,
Mhm.
we risk losing empathy,
Right.
losing trust, and holistic care, which are the core elements that define the
Mm.
nursing profession. So it can also lead to um, the personalized care,
Right.
even increased patient anxiety and nurse
Correct.
burnout if not carefully balanced. So do you think it will happen in the future, or it's happening now in other countries?
If I am being honest, Dr. Neris, no, I think there's a high risk of that. In the picture that you painted, kung saan
Yeah,
people now, nagiging less na yung siguro yung stock that we put ngayon on yung human care. Kasi if you take a look at our kids now, everyone, very tech native ang kids natin eh. They relate well na ngayon to cell phones, 'di ba? And yung tablets nila, right? Even education is delivered na not by teachers, not really through yung 'di ba yung presence ng teacher eh. Nagiging remote na lahat eh. So I think if I'm being honest, no, I think there will come a point in the future natin. I hope patay na ako niyan, I don't want to see this, no. That there will be kung saan madidiminish talaga yung need or imperative for yung human yung face to face yung human intervention kung saan kasi yung mga younger generation kasi will be naturally na talaga more comfortable na in relating with technology, right? So I don't know how that will spell out, no, for the nursing profession. Maybe at the end of the day we just simply have to evolve, no, doon sa prevailing circumstances natin, right?
kasi parang naiisip ko lang, na-imagine na baka itong mga robots na to later on, kakatok ng pinto, they will knock the door and then, here is your medication.
Precisely, doc.
Yes. And then
It's happening now, by the way.
and then yung here is your food, mga ganon.
Mm,
And then
precisely.
siguro, magiging combination, probably magiging combination later on eh. Di
Right.
ba? For example, there are 3 robots in a floor and 1 nurse. Human nurse,
Right.
parang ganun eh.
Right.
Naisip ko lang. Yeah. Thank
I think
you.
I think that's a realistic future, Dr. Neris. Kung saan I think you have the three robots na ngayon doing no most of the, I guess, no operational tasks, and then you have a nurse na ngayon directing them. I hope
Yeah.
that is a future that no the more sensible for us,
Yun ang
right?
nakikita ko eh.
Right.
Mm.
Mm.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you po.
See you again.
Sige, Doc.
Thank you very much po, Ma'am Nerys. Okay. So some of the engagement lang po, Sir Orias, no, from your question kanina, no, can AI replace nurses, no? So sabi ni Mr. Emerson Sibuyan, no, not yet, because clinical judgment, true experience, and critical thinking are unique from human. So aside from the fact that yung core natin, ng core ng nursing care, just like what Ma'am Nerys mentioned, is yung talagang empathy. Okay. Once again, thank you for those questions, and thank you again, Mr. Orias, for your thoughtful and thorough responses. So your talk has truly given us a fresh perspective on how healthcare can evolve without losing its heart. You reminded us that while digital tools and data-driven system can improve efficiency and outcome, it is the human touch, the compassion, the empathy, the connection that remains the core of nursing care. And as a token po of our sincere appreciation, we would like to present this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Orias for his invaluable contribution to today's program and for broadening our understanding on how technology can support and enhance compassionate nursing care. The National Kidney and Transplant Institute Nursing Services, the Certificate of Appreciation is proudly presented to Mr. Manuel Christian M. Orias for sharing his valuable insight and knowledge as a guest speaker during the 5th National Nursing Conference held today, October 24, 2025, via Zoom webinar at this institute. Signed by the head of the Nursing and Service Training and Education Unit po, and Dr. Hazel M. Villafranca, the overall chairperson of the Nursing Month celebration, and Dr. Nerissa M. Juriel, the Deputy Executive Director for Nursing Services. We hope this small gesture reflects our deep gratitude as for your time, energy, and inspiration you have shared with us, Sir Orias. So at this juncture po, may we request a photo opportunity with Sir Orias po. We kindly ask all panelists to turn once again their camera for the photo opportunity.
Open lang the camera ng mga heads. All the heads, can you please open your camera? Yung hindi mag-open, pakitanggal na lang. I want this photo to be complete so we can put in our nursing gazette.
Okay.
We will wait for a few seconds. How about the others? Remove.
Ayan. Okay na po. Okay, one.
No.
Okay po.
How many pages? 2?
One.
Puno na sa inyo. Lahat ng block remove. Okay.
Okay. So, ready na po tayo. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. Thank you very much. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Orias. Let's give him another well-deserved round of applause.
For Dennis. Thank you, Dr. Dennis Prudencio.
Thank you,
Dr. Christian Orias. Thank you very much for joining us in our celebration, our 5th National Nursing Conference. Thank you.
Thank you po. So before we officially close today's learning session, let us take a moment to extend our deepest gratitude to our 3 distinguished speakers for generously sharing their time, experience, and wisdom with us. To Dr. Juriel, your insight on overcoming self-doubt and embracing bold leadership were both affirming and empowering. To Dr. Prudencio, thank you for reminding us po of the power of mentorship and inclusive leadership in shaping the future of nursing. And finally, Sir Orias, thank you for highlighting the intersection between human care and for technological advancement, showing us how innovation can enhance, not replace, the human touch in nursing. We are truly honored and inspired by each of you. Let us give all our speakers another heartfelt round of applause. And to formally conclude today's program, we are honored to call upon a truly caring and attentive leader. Miss Maria Victoria M. Santos, the manager of our General Nursing Department, is known for her motherly approach to leadership, always nurturing, supportive, and deeply committed to her team's well-being. We are privileged to have her share her insight as she delivers our closing remarks. Please join me in warmly welcoming Ma'am Vicky.
Thank you very much, Miss Heidi. To our esteemed speakers, fellow nursing leaders, and colleagues, good afternoon. It is both an honor and a great pleasure to deliver the closing remarks for this 5th National Nursing Conference, held in celebration of Nursing Month with the theme, Our Nurses, Our Future, Caring for Nurses Strengthens Economies. This year's theme reminds us that nurses are not only the backbone of healthcare, but also contributors to our economic and social stability. When we care for our nurses by nurturing their growth, empowering their leadership, and supporting their well-being, we invest in the strength and sustainability of our entire healthcare system. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to all nursing leaders and staff who joined and actively participated in this conference. Your engagement demonstrates our shared commitment to continuous learning, collaboration, and the advancement of the nursing profession. Allow me to express our deepest gratitude to our distinguished speakers who have
Okay, for the
enlightened and
nursing
inspired
staff
us
who
with their
bought the
wisdom and
tickets for
expertise.
the cake raffle.
Dr. Nerissa M. Jerial, our very own Deputy Executive Director for Nursing Services, for her insightful discussion on from self-doubt to self-trust, overcoming imposter syndrome, and embracing bold leadership in nursing. Her talk encouraged us to trust our own voice, embrace confidence, and lead with authenticity and compassion. Dr. Dennis Angelo M. Prudencio for his inspiring topic, The Invisible Thread, How Mentorship Weaves Strength into the Fabric of Nursing. His message reminded us that mentorship is not only about guidance, but about weaving lasting connections that empower and uplift others. And to Mr. Manuel Christian Orias for his topic, Technology and Nursing, Bridging Human Touch with Digital Innovation. He highlighted how nurses continue to balance the art of caring with the science of innovation, ensuring that compassion remains at the heart of progress. Together, the discussions have inspired us to become leaders who believe in their worth, mentors who empower others, and innovators who uphold the humanity of nursing amidst technological advancement. As Florence Nightingale once said, let us never consider ourselves finished nurses. We must be learning all of our lives. This quote perfectly captured the essence of today's conference, a reminder that self-trust strengthens our leadership, mentorship fuels our growth, and openness to innovation sustains our relevance in an ever-changing healthcare landscape. My sincerest appreciation also goes to the NKTI Nursing Services through the Quality Assurance and Research Unit, headed by Ms. Jewel Meriñas, for their hard work and dedication in organizing this successful event, and your efforts continue to elevate nursing excellence within and beyond our institution. As we close this year's National Nursing Conference, let us carry forward the spirit of lifelong learning, compassion, and commitment that define our profession. May we all continue to be confident leaders in our respective fields, be mentors to the next generation, and advocates of compassionate innovation in healthcare. Once again, thank you very much to everyone who made this event possible. Congratulations to all of us, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next year conference. Thank you and good afternoon. Back to you, Ms. Heidi.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Vicky, for those inspiring closing remarks. So at this juncture po, as part of our 1 month celebration of our nursing month, no, we would like to give the floor to Miss Merites Bautista, the head of the Nursing and Service Training and Education Unit, to draw the winners for our cake raffle. We would like to, of course, thank all our nurses and allied nursing staff who supported the cake raffle. Ayan. So take it away, Ma'am Tet. Good afternoon po. Ma'am Tet, sorry, your audio po is ano. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Isang maganda at mapagpalang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Tayo po ngayon ay dadako sa ating pinakamasaya at pinakabonggang raffle o cake raffle na tinatawag natin as part of our nursing services. This afternoon, I am with the cake raffle committee headed by Miss Gracia Samilin. We also have Miss Micah Tolentino and Miss Marian Joso, members of the cake raffle committee, to draw our 20 tumataginting cakes for this afternoon and for this program. So siguro we could share some of the examples or yung ating cake na ipamimigay natin ngayong hapon. Meron po tayong dalawang klaseng cake galing sa Goldilocks at saka sa isang special bake shop. Di ko po alam kung saan po ito naibigay. I love cake. Ayan. So, we also have, tanggalin ko siguro po yung background so you could see ano po yung ating roleta ng kapalaran na nandito po sa aking tabi. Baka akala nyo po ay para masabi po natin na tayo ay mayroong roleta na hindi siya makita. Saan na ba? Yun, ito na lang to na. Ayan, ang roleta ko. Ang dami pong sumuporta ng ating programa. Not only from the nursing services but as well as from the admin, hospital support, lahat po ng mga NKTI families or NKTI employees were also supported our cake raffle. At the same time, meron din po tayong mga bumili rin po ng mga raffle tickets po outside NKTI. So thank you po for supporting po our program. So we will be drawing 20 winners for the cake raffle this afternoon. 10 po ang ating, 20 po ang ating idodraw ngayon. For those who, winners na idodraw po natin na wala sa NKTI, even if you're not within the NKTI premises, you can get your prizes po or prize dito po sa Nisteo office. Ayan, sana po makuha po natin within this day lang po para makain naman po natin. Masarap siya pa rin yung fresh na makakain natin. But of course, ilalagay naman po natin siya sa ref. So, yun din pong mga entries na wala pong name kung saan po siya na, kung sino po yung solicitor, pwede rin nyo pong kuhain dito po yung ating prize po, yung cake po natin. So, ito po yung 20 at 10 cakes from I Love Cakes, and we also have 20 cakes from Gold Deluxe at 10. So, total of 10. At 20, I mean, sorry. 10 plus 10 equals 20. So, unahin na po natin yung first winner of, i-alternate po natin para medyo maganda. Isang Gold Deluxe tsaka isang I Love Cake po para maganda po. Andito rin po yung ating mga committee representative or members po. Of course, syempre, to witness our raffle draw. Kumbaga, sila po yung mga DTI representative. Okay? Are we ready na po? Isusulat na po kaagad namin yung winner tapos pwede na po natin kaagad silang tawagin. Ano ba? I'll do the honor. Ayan. May mga DTI representatives po tayo dito, headed by Miss ng Outpatient Services Supervisor, si Miss Daisy Lopez. We also have Miss Micah Tolentino, the member of ng cake committee, at saka po si Miss Marian din po. We also have Miss, yung dalawang CIs po natin, si Ian at saka si Miss Banshee Furios. Okay, for the first winner of I Love Cake, ay alternate po natin yung I Love Cake tsaka yung Goldilocks. Medyo malaki po siya. Can we open the para medyo exciting naman o hindi natin mababalik? Para medyo, wag na daw baka Ay, hindi pwede ito ganun oh. Para medyo ma-excite lang po kayo. Ayun po yung cake niya. I love cake. So, purple at saka purple flower tsaka may green. Syempre na leaves. Ayan. Yung Goldilocks, alam niyo na po itsura niya. Ayan. Ang gulo ng namin. Okay, unahin na po natin ang Ay, masarap daw po ang cake. Correct po. Ang first winner po ay from ER, Miss Vebs Batocabe. Ayan. Paki-SS po, Bebs Batocabe. Winner ka po first natin for the I Love Cake. Pakisulat na po natin dun sa cake para po hindi na po mawala. Okay. For the Goldilocks cake, ayan po sinusulat ng ating DTI representative ng supervisor ng outpatient services. Susunod natin ay, sana manalo tayo kahit isa. From Marikina City, John Michael Padilla, I think sa ER, ay sa PD po siya. Si MJ po, ayan po. Paki-SS na lang. 2, 3, 2, 3. Next, for the I Love Cakes, third cake na po natin. Ibibigay po natin yung link for the post-evaluation after our raffle draw. Tama po ba ako? Ibinigay na natin or ipinost na? After daw po. Sandali lamang po. From ER again. Baterna ba to? Jovi or Lovi Baterna. Patient. Yan. Jory. Yan. Jory. Patient. Jory Bater. Ayan, Jory. Sorry, Miss Darlene. Jory Baterna. Pangalawa na po. Next will be the Goldilocks cake na po. Goldilocks. Isa lang pala, Goldilocks. Yan. Meron din kayang mga Zoom attendee. Ay, ayan. Kung kayo po ay bumuli at kayo ay nanalo ng dito sa Zoom, meron din po kayo. Unit 3C. One of our nursing leaders, Miss Anne Lorraine Pritos. Nanalo ka po ng Goldilocks. Para kay Princess. Ayan, congratulations. Kunin nyo na po dahil mainit po dito sa office. Okay. Next is the I Love Cake again. Same lang po. Andito po si Miss Lyrene, isa rin po sa member ng, tama ba? Yes, ma'am. Cake Raffle. Ang wala lang dito yung head nila. Si Gray. From IPCU. Nanalo na tong IPCU na to ulit. Christian Mercado. Tama ba na nanalo din sa IPCU? Christian, you can claim your cake po dito sa office. Congratulations. Kayo naman, pumasok na yung kamay ko. Sila naman po. Thank you po. Ayan, you're welcome po. Welcome to our... Ayan, tayo po ay naka-live via YouTube channel. Next will be from Hemodialysis, Marjorie Benavice. Nurse natin to?
Clerk po.
Clerk. Congratulations. Kung nandito na po kayo sa NKTI, pwede nyo na pong i-claim. Hiring po ba sa NKTI? Dito lang po nag-a-ask. Okay po, yes. Kung kayo po ay nurse, continuous po yung hiring po natin. Kung kayo po ay nursing attendant, continuous din po ito. Importante kayo po ay maano nyo lang po yung requirements, ma-complete nyo lang po yung requirements. You can proceed to HR po namin for inquiries. Yun, you're welcome po. Pang-ilan na po natin? Pang-7th winner na po. Bakante. Ang swerte nito. Ibibigay ba ito pag bakante? Sorry po. May number ba kayo? Wala. Walang control number? Hindi, itong control number po. Ticket number 2167. Ano pong Sorry, bakante po. Ano to sa akin na to? Invalid ba to pag ganyan? Hindi to nabayaran. Hindi ba dapat ibibigay? O, teka. Ipapark muna natin po ito, ha? Paki-message nyo yung ano niya. Meron kayong listahan. Baka hindi lang nasulatan ng pangalan. Meron ka? Ay, malaglag. Baka malaglag yung pangalan. Again, for the 7th cake, ma'am, meron pong tanong dito sa, ma'am, yung evaluation. Yes po, ibibigay po natin yung evaluation.
Lisa Manansala daw yung bacon.
Lisa, pakita niyo po sa akin, Miss Lisa, yung ano niyo po, stub po, para malaman natin kung kayo nga po yun. Lagay niyo sa tubig, baka lumabas ang name. Pwede, tama, magandang ano yan.
Ebidensya.
From Caloocan City, Rodrigo Diesto Jr. ER. Huwag kayong mag-ano sa ER kasi ang daming ER staff.
Ang sabi po yung Ma'am Gray, pag wala mong pangalan, invalid.
Pag wala daw pong name, sabi daw po sa invalid. Oh.
7, pang-8 na yun.
Kami mga questions pa po tayo dito. Paano po makontak kay HR from Chris about job hiring from province po kasi? Ay, check po yung aming NKTI website po, doon sa HR po. Pwede po yun. Or, you can get our trunk line po. I-type ko na lang po yung trunk line dito, ma'am. Pero, yung may NKTI website po kami doon, ma'am. Pwede nyo pong i-check. Pakita ko lang po sa inyo, baka akala nyo po, ay, hindi ako nagdodraw. Yan. Pang-8 na po ba?
Yeah.
Pang-8, cake na po. From ORI, ORRR. Irene Domingo.
Sorting naman ng mga...
Yes, madami pong cake, Mr. JD or Miss JD. Ay, Jane. Naman lang. Teka, may mga tanong pa po dito. Baka po maubos yung data ko, di ko makuha yung link evaluation. Sige po, papalagay po natin yung link dito. Only cake, okay. Pang ilan na po?
Pang-9.
Pang-9. So, X na to?
Yeah.
O, X na po yung ano, hindi naglagay ng pangalan.
Pang-9.
Sabi nyo muna yan, baka ano, pumunta ng precinct. Pagkapila. Rekla. Next na po. Happy Nurses Week po mga ma'am, sir. Yes po, Happy Nurses Week din po sa inyong lahat. From Ward 2C, Gwen Changyong po. Ano na tayo? Goldilocks na ba o ano? I love cake. O, alternate po tayo. Si Miss Gwen, I love cake po yung iyong pinanalo. Thank you, and thank you din po for joining us. Meron pa po kami, yearly po itong ginagawang aming nursing conference. Next year po, pwede po kayo ulit sumali. Meron din po kami mga face-to-face din po na mga seminars na approved ng PRC po. Pwede po kayong mag-check ng aming mga link. Ay, nalaglag. Ay, nalaglag. Ay, hindi na stapler, kawawa. Pangilan na po? Pang-10th na po natin. Ayan. Diabetes overload. From NKTI, Joso Maria. Totoo ba to? Andito yung winner. Totoo po ito. Joso Maria. Congratulations. Ano pinanalo mo? I love cake. I love Goldilocks. Pwede pong mag-join sa mga, yes po, pwede po kayo mag-join. Minsan po, most of our programs po, advanced programs are being posted po sa PRC, especially yung mga free webinar po natin. Naka-post po yan sa PRC. Love the Goldilocks cakes. Opo, masarap po talaga ang Goldilocks. From ER ulit, Roslyn O'Malley. Gulong-gulong. Roslyn, pakigulong-gulong daw. Bakit parang puro ER daw ang nanalo? Huwag kayong dahil mahina, talagang mabaho lang ang mga kamay ninyo. Thank you sa free webinar. Swerte ang ER ngayon. Correct. Thank you din sa presenters po. Sarap po ng cake sala. Yes. Sugar rush. Swerte ang ER ngayon. Correct. Nakikik po lagi. Ayan. Dapat meron kang stable webinar. Janice, Swerte daw si Marian. Ma'am, nakuha ba agad ang certificate? After,
May 100 lang per day yung pwede.
opo. Dahil po tayo ay 1 million po ang ating participants. So mga, makukuha niyo po hopefully after a month. Kasi po electronic, ano po yun, certificate po yung makukuha niyo. I-validate lang po muna natin yung evaluation and your attendance before we proceed with the issuance of e-certificate. Thank you, NKT. May CPD points na naman ako. Yes, tama po. Libre po ito. Apaw ngayon ang pasyente sa ER. Tama-tama. ER, ito sa inyo. Sugar rush. Salamat po. Ayan. Welcome po. From Endo, Gina Pereira.
Gina, diabetic ka din.
Oh, diabetic ka daw, Gina, sabi. Kumain ng cake. Hello po, nag-live.
Gina Pereira.
Gina Pereira.
Ay, nakalive yan.
Ay, naka-leave daw si Gina. Ano, i-wave na ba, joke? Paano, nag-live po ng MK page, hirap makapasok pag na-pick out. Ganun po talaga.
Po yung pamangkin niya.
Pwede po sana mag-post link. Duty po ako 2 to 10. Thanks. Shout out kay Melanie Samson. Shout out kay Melanie Samson. Saan ka pong hospital, Miss Melanie? Sayang di kasama sa package. Pa-post kami kay may nasa work din po ako. Wala po effect ang pansit sa ER. May pansit o wala toxic. Gan talaga. Kasama na po sa buhay natin yung pansit at saka kain lang ng kain. Okay. From, kakaiba to. Block 4, Lot 19, Phase 1, Phil Homes, San Jose. With telephone number 0926-0961-017. Elisa, Sara Porbos. Sara, ang munting prinsesa, panalo ka. Siguro, may we request the, ano po, Andrew po to post the link po siguro yung post evaluation. Kasi may mga naka-duty pa daw po. If you could also post the link aside from the QR code that we're going to present po later after this cake raffle. Sige po. Opo. Ipapasend po natin siya. Cake na tayo? Ano na tayo? Goldilocks na po. From ER ulit, dahil umaapaw kayo ng pasyente, ito sa inyo, umaapaw ng cake. Singson Kiel. Naka-duty ka daw, Singson Kiel.
Si Miss
Ayan. Pwede ka umakyat dito. Si Miss Turner. Sabi namin po ng host kanina, till 11 yung availability ng link pag lumabas niya. Ang cute nila, madam. Nag-showcase.
Isa pa daw.
Thank you, Miss Arlene Salcedo. Ganito po kami talaga sa NKTI. Masaya po. Sabi namin po sa host kanina, till 11 p.m. yung availability ng link. Okay, pag lumabas. Yes, apa.
I love it, love.
Please po, evaluation link. May pasok pa. Okay. Evaluation link daw po. From I Love Cake again. Ayan na po ang link. Yan na po ang link. Paki-click na po ang link. Thank you very much.
Skincare mo daw, madam.
Anong skincare mo, madam? Sino po? Ay, nako. Only Patchy touches my skin. Nakalagay na po yun sa TikTok at saka po sa sa Shopee at saka sa Adto Yellow Basket ka. Sa Shopee at saka po sa Lazada.
Yellow basket.
Nakapost na po yung link po natin. Do not forget to click the link and evaluate. No evaluation, no certificate. From Quezon City, Guapo Melby Princess. From HD. Hi, Ma'am Neris. May nagtatanong ng skincare natin.
Yeah, we are promoting the Pat G Cosmetics and Skincare.
Yes, only Patchy touches my skin.
Lazada, Shopee, and TikTok, and you can also
TikTok.
check the website.
Dapat, Ma'am, naglagay tayo dito ng post.
Okay, thank you.
May live forum din daw po sila sa ER on October 30 regarding stroke po. We will post and click. Ayan. Pre-webinar din po yun, stroke, Miss Darlene. Pangilan na po ito? Baka sumobra na wala na akong pambayad ng cake. Pang 16 na po. Okay. Again, Goldilocks. Pang 16 winner of cake, Goldilocks cake, ang nanalo ay Mercedita. Hindi ikaw to, Mercedita. Hindi ko mabasa.
Saya.
Obama,
Kanama.
Osnaba,
Kanaba.
Kanama,
Kanama HD. Kanama.
Patience.
Cake.
Nursing. Mercedita, hindi Hoxon. Mercedita, Kanaba.
Kanama.
Kanama. Kanama. Shout out po sa shout out po sa katatapos lang na program CDHDN Batch 2 June 6 to October 3, 2025 from Bernardino General Hospital. Shout out kay Queenie at sa ating Bernardino General Hospital. Thank you for attending our nursing conference. Pang 18th na natin. 18th na? Pang ilan na po? 17th na. Nakuha na po yung kay Gwen. Okay lang. Dapat may isang slice na iiwan dito.
Yung una.
Hindi ma-open ang link. Okay. Miss Ann, hindi daw ma-open ang link ng post-evaluation. Ayan, baka naka-close pa po. Sige po, paintay lang po. I-open na po. Ang layo naman ng pangalan. From Unit 3E.
Wow.
Lenny Tapaban. Tapawan. Lenny Tapawan. Pakipost po yung, nakapost na Mr. Richard doon po sa upper chat box. Paki-check nyo lang po. Hindi lang daw po ma-open pero nakapost na po. Let me know po kung na-open na po yung inyong link para po malaman po namin kung working na or hindi. Pangilan na po tayo? 18th. Ang 18 na po. Teka lang, magulo yung aming
Cannot please everyone.
wedding. Saan po yung link? Yung link po nandun po sa chat box sa upper po. Check nyo po ulit yung chat box natin. May traffic na open na po. Okay, working na po daw yung link. Naka-open na po yun. Chat nyo na lang po. Na-open naman po. Thank you, Ms. Asis po, for assisting us na naka-open na po ang link. Na-open naman po. Okay, thank you so much. Ayan. Yung pong link, naka-open po na. Andiyan na po sa may chat box. Done, post-evaluation. Ayan. Done na po. Thank you. Okay, done. Okay, thank you so much for accomplishing our post-evaluation. Remember, no evaluation, no certificate. Miss Ronaldine, pa-check mo yung browse, yung sa chat box po. Nandun po sa ibabaw po yung chats natin. 4. Uy, nanalo na ito. Dr. Marvin L. Mendoza. Napakaswerte ni Dr. Marvin. Nanalo na rin siya the other day. Doc Marvin. Miss Sharon. Birthday ni Sharon ngayon. Happy birthday, Miss Sharon. Ito na yung regalo ng Doc Marvin sa'yo. Joke lang. Nakalib ba si Sharon? Ayan. Pang 18th na po. Okay. 19th na. Ayan, ako. Last 2 na po tayo. Done post-evaluation. Thank you din po sa speakers and organizers. Thank you so much. Ito po yung mga cake dancers natin.
Ganda
Pwede
rin
po
yung skill mo,
makita ulit.
Ted.
Ma'am?
Ganda rin yung skill mo.
Yes, ma'am. Sabi ko nga only patchy touches my skin. Available sa TikTok, Lazada, at Shopee.
Yellow basket.
Check na po sa Yellow Basket. From Kalumpit, Bulacan. Oh my God, hindi ko mabasa. Menyenche Santos.
Parang
Nagupit kasi.
Mervin Santos.
Mervin ba to? Kalumpit?
Yes.
Pero kukontakin po natin, 0966-887-4461. Ang ano daw po, contact number, may
Si Pe.
si Mervin PD. Si Mervin Santos to. Right? Duty siya, ayan. Nanalo ka po ng I love cake. I love cake. And for the last, Goldilocks. You're so lucky because of the Goldilocks. Ito po ang panalo natin. Last na po. We still have one more draw. Tama po ba ako?
Yes,
PTK, kailan po?
TPA. Wala po kami help.
Ayos ng committee na to. Hindi na orient kung kailan. I think we still have one more raffle for our cake. TBA daw, kung kailan po. Baka doon sa
Sa ano, closing.
Sa closing siguro. Gusto niyo sa birthday?
Depends lang.
Para ako panalo.
Ayun, life lang.
For the last winner of Goldilocks cake, before we proceed, or before we give the virtual floor to the Kwanru, to all, thank you so much. Basahin lang muna po natin yung inyong mga shout. Thank you so much po sa very again, done post evaluation. Ayan, thank you po. Ayan. Saan po ang evaluation? Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Yung last draw.
Monday daw po yung last draw sa
7.
sa flag ceremony. Okay. For the last winner for the cake raffle, who will receive Goldilocks from, naku, walang ano address, 0995-3604-668, Mark Gringo Belleza. H dito. Ay, alam ng head. So, parang nanalo yata tatlong HD, tatlong ER ngayon. So, there you have it. We completed our 20 cake raffles for this event. Thank you for joining us for our 5th National Nursing Conference. Do not forget, next year po, syempre, meron kaming 6th ulit. And we will be posting some of our programs approved for, by PRC doon po sa kanilang website, sa ating PRC. Aside from that, meron po kaming mga in-house training programs, especially sa mga nurses natin who are with us, na gusto pong bumalik sa ating bedside or basic competency. Meron po kaming basic nephrology nursing, which will conduct this coming November 3. So, pwede pa po kayong humabol, yung mga gusto pong maging part ng NKTI. And of course, would want also to enhance and update their competence regarding to nursing renal practice po. Available po yung aming website doon sa NKTI. Nandoon po lahat yung aming link at saka po yung mga registration fees at saka po yung mga schedules po. Please visit our NKTI website for further details po ng aming mga programs. So thank you very much, and I will, meron pa ba? Yan. Okay na daw, kompleto na. Back to Juanro po for further announcements po. Thank you so much. Thank you for the sponsors of cake, at thank you rin po sa ating cake raffle committee. Andito pa po yung ating mga raffle tickets, hindi pa po yan itatapon kasi we still have more one cake raffle to be drawn on Monday for our flag ceremony. Thank you so much. Back to you, Miss Heidi. Happy Nurses Week, everyone. Mabuhay mga nurse.
Thank you po, Ma'am Ted, and the rest of the cake raffle committee, no? And then congratulations sa ating mga winners ng I Love Cake and Goldilocks Cake. Ayan. Thank you very much po. So before we end, we'd like to share a few important reminders para po sa mga nagtatanong, no, regarding the issuance of our certificates of attendance. So all certificates po will be sent within a month after the event, and depending po yan dun sa total number of our attendees. Also, we would like to note that there is a limit nga po of 100 certificates na ipapadala per day. So distribution may take several weeks. So please be reminded that certificates will be issued only to those who have registered for the event. And then finally, kindly ensure that you have entered the correct details, especially your full name. Importante po yan, email address, and then your PRC number. So these details are considered final, and we kindly ask for your understanding that the organizing committee will no longer accommodate any request for correction or special favors related to certificate information. So, ngayon naman po, if you do not receive your certificates within 4 to 6 weeks, we recommend po that you first check your confirmation email or response receipt. So, in most cases po, based sa aming past seminars, missing certificates are due to incorrect email entries. And then, finally, please also note that the Google Forms for program evaluation that was sent earlier na po sa ating chat box will remain open only until 11:59 p.m. So, sagot na po tayo after this session. So, we appreciate again your attention to these details and your cooperation to ensure a smooth certificate distribution process. Maraming salamat po. And on behalf of the organizing committee, headed by our Deputy Executive Director for Nursing Services, Dr. Nerissa M. Jurial, we are truly grateful for your presence and participation. We also like to thank our subject matter expert, our guest speaker, Dr. Prudencio, and Mr. Manuel Orias for their invaluable contribution in making this event possible. And to all our participants here. May we all see you again next year. Sabi nga ni Ma'am, di ba, Ma'am Tet, meron tayong 6th National Nursing Conference. Even better, even stronger, and with more stories to share. Once again, this has been Heidi C. Lazaro, your host. Maraming salamat po. Stay safe and see you next year. Bye-bye po. Thank you.